Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Westman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. First of all, apologies if I'm a little scratchy. I'm sorry. Just I don't know if it's allergies or under the weather or whatever the hell's going on, but not feeling terrific. So we're going to get through this, though. We're going to fight through it. Jimmy's had a bad day.
I'm not doing well either.
He's driving a town and country right now or some shit. They gave him a giant
fucking...
He's got a giant maroon minivan, pulls it in my driveway. I'm like, where are the kids? There's all the soccer equipment there, pal.
It's one of those cars where,
what
like,
the shit?
Dads that are like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Fucking, you know it's not cool,
No, it's not cool.
You know that's not cool.
There's not a damn thing cool about this car whatsoever.
It's the most emasculating, is that the word?
Well, that's one of them.
Yeah.
It's one of the words that you could
feel
use.
like a real pussy.
Yeah, that's, to put it a little more succinctly, just like that.
It's a real bitch car.
It's pretty hilarious to watch him pull into the driveway. So it's like, look at this. We got town and country there. It's a pretty sweet one.
It looks like a car a guy goes, well, I don't know. We'll have to ask the wife. One of those guys' cars.
It's not even.
Can you go out tonight? No, let me see if I gotta ask the wife. You know how it goes.
It's not even that. I don't even know what it is.
It's such a weenie car.
It's something that like a woman with like 7 kids drives.
Yeah,
like 7
begrudgingly
kids,
her too,
and her dog gets to ride in the front seat. And all the kids go in the back. That's the woman that drives that car.
There's drool all over the passenger
all
door.
over it. Oh, there's Cheerios. If you could fill a vacuum bag with the Cheerios on the floor of that car, and Cheez-Its and Goldfish,
tricks stuck to the carpet,
Teddy Grahams all over the place. It's a fucking mess in there.
Fuck that car.
Anyway, that said, thank you everyone for your reviews this week. We appreciate them a lot. Your reviews, they count a lot. We don't know why. I mean, they should, I guess, but they count on the review on the charts, the Apple Podcast, that purple icon. That's a big deal to those charts for some reason. So if you haven't done it yet, please get on there. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Say you're following instructions. They're making me do it. It doesn't matter. It's just for business purposes. That's all it is. So that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Also, if you want to go even further, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your crime and sports and small town murder needs. Of course, if you're not listening to Small Town Murder, you're most certainly missing out on that. Get your tickets to live shows. No live shows for Small Town Murder. They're sold out for the rest of the year, but there are a few tickets left for Crime and Sports in Nashville on April 8th of 2020. So get those. They're almost sold out. The Small Town Murder the night before sold out. And you want to get to a live show. Trust me, especially we just did one Saturday.
The people from there
here in Phoenix, and man, was that a fun show. It's an amazing live. It's just a whole other level of experience. It's so much fun, and the visuals and everything make it even crazier. And we had a crazy story. People flew in from all over the country to see it. It was pretty awesome.
Wild.
We were just thank you guys for coming out. That was really cool and made us really want to book more Crime and Sports lives because you guys seem to enjoy it. So we want to give you what you like, and we're going to do that this week with a crazy ass story. But before we get to that, if you want to be one of our heroes, you can do that very easily as well by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports, or you can head over to PayPal, use our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com, and you can be a producer, and we will gush about you at the end of the show during our shout outs and say how wonderful you are and how you keep this show going, and we couldn't do it without you, because that's true. So with that all said, I think it's time to dive dive in here.
Great.
To our subject of the day. This should be interesting. We're going to basketball again, which is always fun. Whenever we do like the late 90s, mid 90s basketball, that's a fun time, and we're gonna have a fun time today.
Makes me remember all that polo sport I wore.
All that Paco Rabanne that you had all over you.
Tommy Hilfiger.
Oh,
the clear bottle.
The clear bottle. That was I was listening to something with my daughter. There was I think it was old Biggie, and he made a reference to Nautica, and she said, "What's that?" And I was like, "That's hilarious. I don't even know what that is." That's a brand that either old fart white men wore yachting
or gangster ass black dudes,
gangsters who are 17,
selling
either one,
coke on the streets in New York.
One or the other. The extra larges went to one faction, and the mediums went somewhere else.
Depended where they were sending it.
Yeah, that's the thing. But tonight we're going to go back to the mid to late 90s for our subject, and we're going to go see the big dog Glenn Robinson.
Oh, what?
Remember Glenn Robinson?
Glenn was an asshole.
He had some issues.
Oh,
Glenn's had a couple issues. Yeah, Glenn.
God damn it.
Glenn's had a couple issues. He's got an interesting family, and it goes on.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
I was thinking of a different Glenn.
You're not thinking of the big dog?
I was thinking of Glenn Rice. You're talking about Glenn Robinson from the Bucks.
Yeah, Glenn Robinson.
Not
he was
Glenn
a
Rice,
nightmare. Not the big
Power
dog.
forward.
Yeah, he is. Glenn Allen Robinson Jr. It starts every time. Why? Why, oh universe? Why do you do this?
Why do they do it?
Why is it so perplexing that every one of our goddamn athletes is a junior, names their kid Junior? What's the percentage? Figure it out. Somebody do the research.
It's got to be in the upper 40s, low 50s,
That's
right?
crazy.
Yeah.
It's at least half that are juniors or name their kid Junior. It's absolutely unholy.
I'll bet and name them juniors is in 60s.
It's crazy.
It's
if you
gotta
go
be.
either or, it's got to be at least half, though.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But Big Dog is his nickname.
I do remember
if
that.
You saw him.
DAWG, right?
Well, I mean, it depended on who was printing the T-shirt. Honestly, it depended. But either way, he's a big giant guy. He's 6'8", 6'9", and weight is. Who knows?
Yeah, and it fluctuated.
It would be like in wrestling if it was a masked guy and they're like parts unknown, weight unknown, and they just show on the chyron on the screen as 3 question marks underweight. We don't know. Anywhere from 240 to, I don't know, 3 something. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
So, and it seemed to really fluctuate. He wore his jersey kind of baggy to hide the level of fluctuation that was happening that week, from what I remember.
He just tucked the bottom seam.
Yeah, that's all it was. And it just like dangled in front. Like, it's all good. I got another, 5 trips to the buffet to fill in the rest of this jersey. So I'm okay. Yeah. I'm good. The big dog, born January 10th, 1973. So, from that era, born in Gary, Indiana. He's from Gary, Indiana, which, Gary's a rough spot.
Yeah.
It's been a rough spot kind of always, and it's we're kind of outside of Chicago.
Yep.
I guess it's not, it's weird to say that because it's in Indiana, but the way the states line up, if you're not from here, it's close to Chicago.
Right.
And
it's where the Jacksons were beaten for years.
Exactly. And they compare him to the Jacksons.
Really?
That's because it's like him and the Jacksons are from
the only
Gary.
ones.
And there's other people, but they're the big ones, and especially when he was, because in college and shit, he was
a beast.
He was a beast. Yeah. He was like the undisputed number 1 overall draft pick guy of the, the LeBron of his day, not a right out of high school guy, but he was that kind of guy there. And I found some interesting stuff on, not hard to find a lot of shit on his childhood.
Really?
There's some stuff on his dad that we'll talk about because his dad gets in the news himself quite a bit for his outings and activities, we'll say here. But I found an article on SI.com here where they did, back when he was going to get drafted into the NBA, they did kind of a background on him. And very interesting. His mom's name is Christine, and Christine was in her teens when Glenn was born. So not married to her father, and
his father. How much stereotypes are going on in Indiana?
Jesus Christ!
I hope she's not married to her father.
I need sleep. She's married to so she's not married to her father, everybody, so that's a plus.
Or his father.
Or his father. She's married to no one's father at the time. Or anyone else for that matter. No one who has a son or doesn't have a son or daughter. So, she's unmarried when Glenn is born. But she is, her mom, his mom is no joke. His mom is like a small person not like a little person. Mom,
what are you doing today?
What is happening?
Oh, God. His mom
is a dwarf who's married to her own father. That's what we've established so far. I don't think any of that's true. Imagine if we just made up the story.
That makes it much more interesting of why he's a 6'8" power forward whose weight fluctuates between God only knows and God only knows.
I thought his eyes were a little close together. Jesus Christ.
He seemed to have a very small forehead.
This is really weird, man. Short arms, long torso, you know how it goes.
Oh,
his mom is a badass. His mom controls him and the whole family and on her own, and she's very tough. He doesn't mess with his mom. Mm-hmm. He won't listen to coaches and things like that, but he'll listen to his mom. If his mom yells at him, he's like, "Yes, ma'am," and he's doing it, whatever the hell she wants. She went to Roosevelt High in Gary, which is where he ends up going here. Mm-hmm. Now his father, Glenn Robinson Sr. here, he's known on the street and, as they say in the paper, as this one article, known to the police as Red Cap.
Oh, boy.
That's his nickname here.
Oh, boy.
Old Glenn Red Cap Robinson, which is not as cool as Big Dog.
No, it's not.
It's just he gets arrested wearing a red hat a lot.
Yeah.
And they're like, is that fucking Red Cap again? Red Cap, dumb motherfucker.
The cops call him that. Nobody else calls him that.
The guy with the red cap, it's the same fucking guy every time. He's the only guy with a red hat walking around committing crimes constantly.
It's either him or Fred Durst. Pick him up.
Pick him up. Pick him up. Or Trump. Either way. Yeah. They're up to something. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. I'm just kidding. But so, yeah, she wanted her son to go there too, right, to her high school. Yeah. She's hooked up with Red Cap here. Yeah. And this guy is really, they date back to 1973 with a long line of arrests from what we found in a couple different articles here. Most of them are drug related. He's got arrests the year Glenn is born, 1973. So congratulations to him. Red Cap. He was, I think, 21 when Glenn was born. Okay. He's a few years older than Glenn's mom. And then he just takes off after a while. He never really was around much anyway in the beginning. It's not like he was there. Oh, I'll go out and get the diapers right now. Like he wasn't there anyway. He was getting arrested and shit like that. But then he completely disappears shortly after when Glenn's a toddler. So that's that.
He's going to reappear.
He'll be back. Don't worry. Don't worry. We haven't heard the last of Glenn Sr.
Okay.
It's going to haunt Glenn his whole life here as it just keeps coming up.
That's fucked up.
It's like in college and there's like LA Times reporters like going, so your father's wanted right now. Wow. And he's like, can I just play basketball?
I just want to dunk.
For Christ's sake. Yeah. So Christine raises Glenn alone here. And Gary, like we said, is high crime rate, kind of a dangerous city, especially in the 70s and 80s. It was a mess there as far as that goes. It was tough in a low income area of the city too, especially high homicide rate, that sort of thing. His father, Glenn Sr., continues to get arrested through his childhood. Yeah. So arrests in 1978 for some marijuana possession, also for being a common nuisance. That's a common Red Cap's a fucking nuisance. Look at him.
They arrested him for that.
Common nuisance.
That's enough of you, sir.
We've had enough. He's just a nuisance. Yeah. Can we put him in jail? We can?
We can go for that.
We can just put him in jail for being a nuisance. Awesome. Jesus, he's annoying everybody. Sir, you've been annoying everybody.
It's enough of your annoyances, sir.
Enough, yes. In Indiana, apparently, common nuisance is actually shorthand. It's legal for a house where narcotics, it's like a crack house, basically. A very loose narcotics house, they call keeping a common nuisance.
Yep.
So the house is a common nuisance,
and he runs it.
So he's like the engine of the common nuisance. Yeah. So he keeps it going.
He's like the wings of the mosquito.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's just going. So that's what happens there. Obviously, so he's not a great influence on Glenn. I wouldn't imagine. This is one of those that we always say, and we've had it happen every different way on this show.
Sure.
Is it better for the father to stick around, beat the shit out of everybody within arm's length, fuck up the kid like that, or just disappear into the night, never to be seen again? Which is better? We haven't figured it out yet.
It's tough.
It happens, seems to be equally fucked up both ways. Yeah. And on top of that, sticking around and being too involved is also a problem. Right. So there's a really fine line.
I don't want Red Cap around him, though.
No, Red Cap he needs to be away from Red Cap here. It's funny. Later on, there'll be articles that say like father, not like son. That's literally an LA Times article called "Like Father, Not Like Son." Like, Jesus.
How bad of a piece of shit do you got to be when your son does well? They're gonna just talk about how much of a monster you are.
Especially when it's just funny because no one would know who you are. You wouldn't be in national publications to everybody calling you a fuck up unless your kid unless now your kid does something well, and now that just puts a spotlight on what an idiot you are. That's hilarious. So she moves close enough to her high school that she went to, so Glenn could go there too, Roosevelt High. And he wasn't as big as he was. He wasn't a guy that they took aside in the 6th grade and said, "You're going to be in the NBA. Yeah. Let's be nice to you."
Looking back, I don't see him being very athletic in the first place.
I mean, he is. He has when they did the scouting shit, he's got a 34-inch vertical jump.
Does he really?
For a guy his size, that is outstanding.
That's crazy.
That's outstanding for a man his size. I mean, that's like him and Barkley are like those freak heavy guys that just had sick vertical jumps anyway. Yeah. Imagine if they lost him. I always thought that about Barkley. Imagine if Barkley dropped 30 pounds. He'd have a 50-inch vertical jump. That extra 30 pounds has to be holding him down, and he had a 40-inch vertical jump or some crazy shit. So I always thought about that when I was a kid. But he comes up and he's not like he's not a real good basketball player. He doesn't even go out for the 7th grade team when he gets to junior high because he didn't think he was good enough.
Really?
So that's how not dominant he was, or not. Nobody, like I said, nobody took him aside and were like, "Listen, it's going to be an easy road for you,
You
young
are
man."
surely gifted with this.
Yeah, he's not one of those guys who we've had countless ones of those guys, but one of his coach here, the Roosevelt's coach, Ron Heflin, said, quote, "I had 2 fat little managers, a pair of twins who used to outplay him when he was in the 4th or 5th grade. He wasn't very good. People don't understand how hard that kid worked. He hasn't always been a polished ball player." Mm-hmm. So he did have to put a lot into it. Yeah. Athletically, he's a big giant guy who's pretty athletically gifted, but basketball's still a skill game. You can't just be big and pick up a ball and douche. People who are skilled will take it away from you.
Hand-eye coordination is everything.
Yeah, and it
matters a lot.
And it's so just a matter of repetition and seeing the peripheral vision and people and plays. People are here, they're there, not throwing it to the wrong guy.
Your depth perception is fucking everything.
Yeah, it's all of that here. But so he keeps trying and makes the JV squad as a freshman, junior varsity, and as a sophomore he makes the varsity team. So I mean, it's not, like I said, he's not even like on the varsity team as a freshman, which most of these guys were on the varsity team in the 7th grade that we talk about. Right. So I mean, he's a late bloomer when it comes to that. He apparently did in his during his sophomore season when he's on varsity, he gets some bad grades one quarter, and his mom freaks out and goes into the coach's office and said that Glenn can't play anymore till his grades improve. Yeah. So that was her, and that was on her. The school didn't say that. That was her.
She's right.
They fell below her standards, and I guess she was super pissed and raging. And the coach said, quote, "She looked right up and said, 'Glenn, do you understand me?' And he said, quote, 'You couldn't help laughing at how this little woman had control of him.'" He just was sitting there with his head down, going, "Okay, I won't play basketball." It's pretty funny. So eventually, though, he's becomes a dominant force in his junior and senior year here. Basically, over the 3 years he's there, the basketball team goes 73-7.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive. Yeah, they win a state championship. He's a bad man, basically. He also wins the Mr. Basketball Indiana title, which in Indiana, that's a very coveted thing, that Mr. Basketball.
That's the Larry Bird.
That's the Larry Bird Award right there that you're getting. So
they'll French lick your asshole for that.
Still, from 3-point range. From 3-point range, Jimmy. They will absolutely French lick your asshole for that. So, 73-7 here. He said when he's coming out of high school, he was upset that people said that Gary's a shithole. Because everybody would be like, "Yeah, he's from the shithole, Gary." Like, that was every article. Like, from the smokestacks and the, dead bodies that line the streets next to the broken crack vials. Right. They're there first, and then the bodies fall atop of them. And then the more crack vials fall atop of the bodies. It's very sad, this part. That was every article.
And the untalented Jacksons that Joe threw off a mountain somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 other Jacksons.
There's gotta be.
I want, wherever they lived, I want that house excavated, because underneath it, like John Wayne Gacy style, there is most certainly like 4 kids who just couldn't get that skip change fucking shuffle down.
On the 4 count!
God damn it!
God damn it, the 4!
Fuck. No. He's singing here. You're here. Do you understand me? You're supposed to be here. Where the fuck do you think Tito is then? Jesus Christ. God.
And he throws him off in a mountain like a discarded Asian girl. Are they girls that they throw?
Yeah, they throw her right off. Next thing you know, he's like, Jermaine, dig another hole. Jermaine's like, damn it.
Again, Jermaine, we're going to keep you in the band if you keep digging.
Should I just dig two? LaToya's fucking useless, right? I'll dig two. She's eventually... No? All right, I don't know. Right. She seemed to like her for some reason. All right, whatever. Figured she'd be going down.
Nothing makes me happier than picturing Joe Jackson discarding untalented Jackson.
I don't know why.
That's
it's
so
hilarious.
miserable, but so funny.
My question is, did he do it all at once?
Yeah.
Or did he get did they have a conference, him and his wife, and they were like, listen, 4 of these aren't going to make it. Like 4 of them aren't making it. We've given them all until this age.
Yeah.
And I think we've picked out the 5 that are worth it. Janet will keep around too. I don't know. She's not ready yet, but I feel like she's got potential. LaToya, she's on the fence, but these 4, we're not going to need them. Or as it became clear they were untalented, did he discard them one at a time? I feel like it'd be easier to just dig one big trench under the house.
Yeah.
For Jermaine. You can't keep sending Jermaine down there. He's going to hurt his back. He's got to get dancing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. I got to tell you right now.
It never happened that we know of.
With Michael, they were like, I don't know, he's just fucking weird. I think, and then he let out of his voice, and they were like, hold on, wait. Jermaine, put the shovel down. He sings like a fucking angel. Hold on a minute.
Fucking weird. A dad calling his son fucking weird.
I pictured him like 3 years old, just looking up all sweet. Michael Jackson was a cute ass kid.
He was an adorable little black cherub.
His little cute face, his big old afro. And his dad just going, I don't know about this one.
He's fucking weird.
And then it's fucking weird. And then he's just, I'll be there. And they're like, whoa, hold on a
Slow
second.
down.
Hold on.
Wait a tick.
Alphabet one more time. A, B, C, talk about. Okay, never mind. Hold on, Jermaine. Put the shovel down, big guy.
Meal ticket, you guys.
Guys,
can you spell it?
No, seriously, guys. Watch him. No, Tito, I'm serious.
Whatever he does.
Especially you.
Yeah.
Especially you, Tito. Life's going to be hard for you.
Wait till you see what your face turns into.
Hook it right here. That's what I'm saying. This is your guy. I don't know, as long as he'll fucking have you around. Do I have to do everything? Dig the goddamn hole. Joe Jackson.
Jesus, he's a monster.
Angry 60s Joe Jackson. So, Glenn Robinson, though, about Gary, he knows nothing where the unwanted Jackson children are buried. He says, quote, people come to Gary expecting to be shot. You hear a lot of bad things about Gary, but a lot of people who say those things have never been there.
Right.
Because the ones who've been there have been shot already. Right. So they can't speak on it. So these are people that have, like, I heard from... Well, my friend went there and was shot on the first day, so that's why.
I heard from a friend who died being shot there.
He shot there. As he was dying, he was like, don't come to Gary, you get shot here, and he went down.
This place is a motherfucker.
I'm going to go ahead and believe him, I think. I think he knows.
Put some trust in that guy.
Yeah, that's right. He said, yeah, there's a bad side of Gary. It's a tough side of town. He said, it's tough. He said, quote, it's just like anywhere else. If you mind your business and don't get caught up in a lot of BS on the streets, then you'll be fine. There's 2 sides of the street, he says. You can choose to be on one side of the street or you can choose to go to the other side. I get along with people on both sides of the street. Okay.
What? That's the most obvious thing that's ever been
Go unpack
said.
that. Yeah, there's a bad side with bad people, and then there's good people. And so you could choose to be bad or you could choose to be good. I choose to get along with everybody, which made no sense.
I don't have to choose either.
I don't have to choose either. I get along with everybody because I'm good at basketball, apparently. I don't understand how...
Because it's me and the Jacksons.
It's me and the Jacksons. Everybody else. So yeah, he said that's what it is. So they go to the 90-91, his high school team. He makes the game-winning shot in the regionals.
Really?
And made the game-winning shot in the semifinals as well.
Wow.
And in that game, he schooled Alan Henderson, who went to Indiana and then ended up in the NBA after that. He's another forward.
I don't even see his face.
Kind of nondescript, honestly. He wasn't that great, but at Indiana, he was a pretty good force. on the Hoosiers there for a while. And that was in the state championship, so they won that. 1991, he is Mr. Basketball Indiana, and also shares the National High School Player of the Year award, or honor, or whatever it is. Whoa, yeah. Share. That was a real stretch. Hold on, Jimmy.
You sat there for a sec. What did I say? What's the matter? What are you doing with me?
You think you just tore your rotator cuff reaching for that one? You better. Have to
when
take
you
to
said
the doctor.
share, that's all. That's the face I saw.
We're gonna have to load you into the town and country and take you to the hospital after that to get you an MRI, because I think it's going to be a long recovery road to reach. That's all right. We'll put the seat down. Just lay across the back. I'll drive. Don't worry about it.
Benny and Frankie, climb in. Keep me company back here.
They will. They'll love on you.
Who's he share it with?
He shares it with Chris Webber. So
Chris Webber was from Indiana too?
No. It's national. That's
national. That's what you said.
It's America. Chris Webber's from Michigan, but it's National Player of the Year honor.
Okay.
So it's him and Chris Webber, the two
awesome.
best in the entire United States. He's on the 1991 McDonald's All-America team, which is a big, giant deal.
Yeah.
And if you're on that team,
it was.
At least then. Now there's different. It's a totally different thing. But now there's all these different AAU teams and all this shit. But back then, that was like, hey, this is the cream of the crop, gold star recruits to every college.
Have a gander at these guys, because you're going to be watching them the next at least year.
Here's the top 20 high school players in the country is what it was. And this is, we'll go over the list of these guys quick. And some people who don't care for the sports or whatever, we'll get through it in a second.
Kevin Garnett on this?
This is kind of interesting. Well, we'll talk about it. On one team, this is the East roster, was Sharon Wright, who went to Clemson, Donald Williams, who went to North Carolina, David Vaughn went to Memphis, Donyell Marshall, you remember, he ended up going to UConn, James Forrest went to Wake Forest.
What?
Probably just for them.
Why
He's like,
did he
you know
do
what,
that?
man? I'm going to do it.
God damn it.
I'm going to Wake Forest. They're like, come on, bro. It's like, it's all right.
All right.
Ben Davis goes to Arizona. Rick Brunson of Temple. Travis Best of Georgia Tech. Corey Alexander of Virginia. Let's see. Well, the West is Chris Webber. Listen to this squad. Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, Glenn Robinson, Juwan Howard.
What?
Dude, that's a crazy squad. That's
Three of those guys went to Michigan.
That's a future like NBA All-Star team. Cherokee Parks, who went to Duke, who was in the NBA forever. He hung on here. Calvin Rayford, Jimmy King, who went to Michigan, was a good player there. Alan Henderson, who was a great player in. So that's a squad right there.
Was Juwan Howard on Michigan? Did he go to Michigan?
Yeah, he was one of the Fab Five,
right?
Yeah,
so they have three of the Fab Five.
Three of the Fab Five, and throw Big Dog in there,
right?
Which isn't too shabby.
Wow.
And Cherokee Parks for your sixth man, and Alan Henderson also at the forward. So
unreal.
It's not too shabby of a squad. If they had a point guard,
they are bumping.
They'd have it going.
They got all the rebounds.
Squad. Yeah, no, they have the whole front court is covered, and Jalen Rose is your guard. So that's something here. There is at the high school there's life-size photos of all the players from the championship team there. It's a big deal. And one of the students, while they're doing an article on him when he's going to go to college, one of the students points at Robinson and says, the next Michael J. So that's what the kids are thinking.
Jackson? Or what are you doing?
Yeah, the next Michael Jackson. You should see his spin. He does a spin crotch grab that's really impressive. And three of his brothers are buried under his house. So we think he's the real deal. You think he can make it? That's pressure.
Never compare Glenn Robinson to Michael Jordan. Jesus Christ.
That's pressure when your dad's saying sing and your older brother's standing there with a shovel over his shoulder. That's a lot of pressure.
On the other one.
You know what happened to your other. You used to have 6 brothers or 8 brothers or whatever.
I need the pickaxe. I'm going down to the caliche. You're going deep, motherfucker.
We're running out of room down there. It's not a big house. We're not a wealthy family. We have to bury our kids with, elbow grease.
We're making the most vicious character of Joe Jackson ever.
Well,
somehow we're making him vicious.
I was going to say, I don't think it's possible. Whatever we're saying about him, that's clearly a joke. But whatever we're saying, it's probably not as bad as really living with Joe Jackson as a child. Honestly. Let's be fucking honest here.
I mean, what it sounds like is the threat of death seemed pretty fucking
looming
real.
Over you, whether there's a shovel in Jermaine's hand or not. Jermaine, let us know, by the way, if you were forced to bury your siblings under the house. Because if you were, I think Joe's dead now, so you can come out and tell us.
There's no way that the statistics are 100% of them are successful. That's impossible.
Let's make a deal with Jermaine. Can we make like prosecutors in Gary, Indiana, and possibly Los Angeles County once they moved? I'm not sure. Can we make a deal of immunity for Jermaine Jackson for his sibling burials if he comes out and says that Joe Jackson actually had him bury all his siblings under the house? Or wherever. If you're in the woods, I don't know.
Wherever he put them.
That's fine.
Because just statistically, it's fucking impossible.
It's interesting here. So, Glenn Robinson is so recruited. It's ridiculous. He's obviously, it's the top 2 players in the country and that sort of thing. National Basketball Player of the Year here. Could have gone anywhere he wants. Every school was recruiting him. He wants to either go to Purdue, Indiana with Bobby Knight, Minnesota, Tennessee also. But he said those were a little too far for him. He wanted to be closer to home, which is never a good choice, as we know. He visited Indiana, actually, and I guess he was with an assistant coach, and they were watching some film, and they're asking Glenn, as they do, like, what did he see and shit like that, and Glenn had his feet up on a desk, and Bobby Knight came in the room and yelled, "Hey, get your feet off the desk," at him. And Knight said he was joking, but he was not sure that Glenn understood he was joking because he's just kind of a sensitive, shy kid. Right. He says he didn't think so.
Also, we've seen you throw chairs,
and it's Bobby Knight. So right away, he's a kid, and Bobby Knight yelled at him. He's like, "Oh shit, he already hates me, and I literally haven't met him yet. He just like laid eyes on me." And Bobby Knight says he thinks that he lost him because of that, of the joke. Like to 10 years later, he was like, Glenn Robinson didn't come to Indiana because I yelled at him and joked, and he didn't know I was joking.
How about that?
So that's what he thinks. Yeah, so that's the thing. So he decides to go to Purdue.
See the point when you're not a comic and you're not a funny guy?
That's the thing. Stop trying to be funny.
Stop trying to be funny, you dick.
Well, when just a really, really angry guy goes, "Hey, get your feet off the desk," you don't think hilarious.
You go, wow, what a joker.
I've seen you on TV scaring the shit out of people way bigger than you. Right. So, no, I don't want to fucking be a part of this. I'm going to go somewhere nicer. Right. Well, I wouldn't want to play for Bobby
I've seen
Knight.
you gamble with losing your job by throwing all the shit on the sideline onto the court.
I read a book about I think it's the 86 season. It's David Halberstram, I think, wrote it, and he's wrote a ton of good books. No, it wasn't Halberstram. I don't remember who the hell wrote it. It's about like the 86 Hoosiers. It's a very famous book, and I'm completely blanking on it right now. And Bobby Knight's a lunatic. He's way worse than you would ever even think he is. It's not one of these, like, when you read about him, you go, oh, I get him a little more now. You go, Jesus, what an even bigger asshole. Yeah. They just covered a lot of shit up for this asshole. Yeah. It's just the way it is. Like, they just covered a lot of shit up for him. So he chooses Purdue and goes there. So his freshman year, he's all ready to go, but he is forced to sit out his freshman year.
Why?
Due to Proposition 48, which is low test scores.
He's a dummy.
Which means he can't go.
Right.
Yeah, so he's not allowed to do that. So he says that
he's academically ineligible.
He says that everybody was trying to say, like, hey, it'll be good for you. You can get used to college life for a year, and then so it's not all at once getting thrown in. Like when you learn to drive, you don't want to learn on a stick shift. You want to learn how to steer the car, and learn how the gas works, and then fucking figure out how to shift gears. But all at once, it's too much to figure out. It's a lot. It's harder. It's much harder.
So let everybody think you're a dummy then come back.
Hey, dude.
Oh, Jesus.
Be an idiot. Yeah. Why don't you? So, but his friends all said he was actually embarrassed by it because later on they would chant SATs at him at other schools too. When he'd go to the foul line, they'd chant SAT at him. So that was the foul line. Fucking whatever. Razzing, yeah. Shaking those tubes around.
The thunder sticks.
Yelling,
SAT to the beat of the thunder sticks.
SAT. So, he didn't like that. One of the Purdue players said, quote, I think it was harder on him than he'll ever admit. So that was, he says too that, he was really depressed when he got to college. He wasn't allowed to play. He felt like a loser. He said all he did was eat when he got there. That's it. He became the bigger dog.
He's a dumped teenage girl at this point.
That's what it was. He said all he did was Haagen-Dazs containers everywhere. Ben and Jerry's just tipped over.
Gummy worms hanging out of his mouth.
He's not even chewing them. No. There's just some residual gummy worm from the last mouthful. He just hasn't shoved. He'll shove it in there later when he gets hungry again. Just dripping chunky monkey all over his carpet. It's not a good thing. Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you a little bit more about Simply Safe.
SimplySafe.com. SIMPLI Safe.com.
That's right. On average, a burglary happens every 23 seconds in the United States. That's a lot of burglaring going on right there. But only 1 in 5 homes have home security because home security is a pain.
It's a nightmare.
Huge nightmare.
Yeah.
Someone comes over to your house and says, well, if you don't spend thousands of dollars and let us rip all your drywall apart, gangs of marauding people are going to break into your home.
You're in danger.
Kidnap your children and take everything you've ever owned and murder you and everybody else too. So that's what they're going to tell you. But it's ridiculous. You don't need all that stuff. You don't need all the hassle. What you do need is Simply Safe.
Yeah.
Simply Safe makes it easy on you with no contract, no hidden fees, no fine print, none of that stuff. What they do is Simply Safe protects every single door, window, and room with 24/7 professional monitoring for just $15 a month. $15 a month. Simple, flat, easy. It's won a ton of awards from CNET to New York Times Wirecutter. And one thing that really makes Simply Safe stand out is they have video verification technology. Other home security systems, they get triggered. Police assume false alarm. People set off their own alarm all the time. They put it to the bottom of the list. It takes forever to get there. Your whole house is robbed by the time you get there. Instead, Simply Safe video verification technology, they confirm visually that there's a break-in happening. They send the police. It's really important. Go. They get there 3.5 times faster. Save you, save your things, save your family.
What a deal.
Do it right now. We both have Simply Safe.
Yeah.
Super easy to install.
Security is affordable.
It's a completely affordable, non-invasive, won't destroy your house, won't be a big pain. You can get it done in an afternoon, have it up, and feel like you have peace of mind for $15 a month. It's super easy. How do you do that, you may ask? Visit simplysafe.com/sportscrime, and you'll get free shipping and a 60-day free, or 60-day risk-free trial, which is awesome. You've got nothing to lose here. Go now. Be sure you go to simplysafe.com/sportscrime so they know that our show sent you. That's SIMPLI safe.com/sportscrime.
And now back to the show.
So he says that
freezer full of fish food.
Oh, that's it. He said, quote, I almost gave up and went home. That's how bad he felt. He said, I looked in the mirror and I had this big old stomach and I never lost it. So he isn't that I added the end part there, but it's what he should have said because he never lost it. He says, I
had this big old belly. See,
look at it. It was hanging.
There it is.
You can't tell under that jersey. I do a good job of tucking it, right? Big guys know how to tuck those jerseys.
They do.
He would be miserable now.
Oh God,
those uniforms are like they're
so tight.
You have to be like jacked to not look like a dumpy fuck now. Back then, he would have just been like, I'm not playing in the NBA. This is ridiculous.
There was a guy in the NBA, I don't know who he is, but the poor fuck has a T-shirt of hair. And that's so bad. It's the worst chest and shoulder hair that I've ever seen. I feel so bad for him because the jerseys are so fucking revealing.
Yeah,
they show
ridiculous.
everything.
It's just like...
makes you feel like a piece of shit.
It's just more comfortable, though, bigger jerseys and shorts. It's just more comfortable.
And this poor guy's got to be out there being like,
around.
I'm a fucking millionaire for this.
Look at me.
For this embarrassment.
I look like a Greek tourist on vacation in the New Jersey shore in this goddamn thing. I take off now. No, I leave tank top on. I leave on. I don't want burn on my back.
Right.
Neck, I want burn. I want to look good.
It's so fucking embarrassing.
No, I not shave. It protect me from sun.
Somebody knows who I'm talking about. We're going to get so many tweets about it.
Back hair, SPF Natural 185. Very good.
It's so dark, too.
The shawarma man at the beach
Jesus.
and shit.
There's so much hair. It's so embarrassing.
I know what you're talking about, too. So, Jesus Christ, man.
You've got millions, bro. Get it laser.
Get your
Stop
shit
it.
fixed. Or just shave it. Do something.
Don't force us to look at that weird shit while you're at the foul line or the close-up.
Anthony Davis, I mean, it was going to stare into a camera with $130 million contract or whatever with a goddamn
made that shit work.
With a fucking... No, he didn't. He looked like a goddamn lunatic. I wanted to see some, 91-pound, 5'1" Asian girl bounce out of a salon and tackle him to the ground and just start ripping it out.
One by one.
Not even charge him.
Just run up behind him at the foul line, smear wax on it, and fucking rip it off.
I can't take it anymore. Jermaine, get the shovel. Poor Jermaine.
Unbelievable.
So he says, though, everyone was insensitive to him at this point. He said, people would tell me, you've got to get eligible so you can play. They never asked me how I was or how my family was. They weren't concerned about anything like that. Yeah, because this is business.
Right.
That's college basketball's business. The NCAA is a horrible, terrible business.
We're not friends, bro.
No.
You work for us.
Oh, but you actually don't work for us.
Right.
No. You're a student athlete. I'm sorry. No, work for us. No. If we worked for us, then we'd have to pay you and give you insurance and shit like that. But no, you don't work for us.
You contribute to a thing.
Right? Jermaine, get the shovel. He said he works for us. He said the W word. We can't have it. He needs to go under the house. That's a shovel moment right there, because that is not like that. And he has a really good point later on when he's pissed at the NCAA. Mm-hmm. So 92-93 finally gets to play for Purdue. Before he plays, though, this is when he gets the nickname the Big Dog. Not in high school. It's before he starts playing in his freshman year. One of the school's custodians, some old dude started calling him Big Dog, and that's everybody called him Big Dog.
Okay.
And he liked the name Big Dog because it sounded cool. So he got Jesus Christ, he has a tattoo on his chest with a bulldog wearing a spiked collar.
You got that?
He's the Big Dog.
Like the Hoyas?
Kind of, I guess, but I think it's trying to meaner looking.
Yeah.
I think it's got teeth
and shit.
Yeah, it's snarling and shit.
Right.
I'm a mean Hoya. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 92-93, they go 18-10. Purdue. They lose to Rhode Island in the first round. I think that was Lamar Odom playing back then.
I don't know.
On Rhode Island, possibly. I'm not sure.
I can't name two players that went to Rhode Island.
Yeah,
you know what? I'll be honest.
There.
I can't name one.
Thank you, Jimmy. He played for the Expos. Don't worry about it.
I don't even know if Odom went there.
He was on the Royals. Don't worry about it. I don't know either now. Or did he go to Providence? No, he didn't go to Providence. I think it was Rhode Island.
I wouldn't have
no
fucking idea.
I don't remember. God damn it. So I should have looked that up, but then who would have thought? Anyway, Glenn here he plays in 28 games, plays 36 minutes a game here in his first year here. 24 points a game, 9 rebounds, not too shabby. 2 steals, 1.2 blocks.
That's great.
Almost 2 assists. He's nasty. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's ridiculous. He's really good. He's a national sensation. Back in Gary, everybody's excited.
Sure.
A friend of his says, quote, a friend of his named Rayfield. That's his first name.
Oh, boy.
That's a cool old man. That's an old man name there.
Yeah.
I'm Rayfield.
Yep. He's seen some shit.
I've been working in the iron factory for the last 47 years.
Over here. You just don't you call me Ray. My name is Rayfield. And you keep calling me
You call me Mr. Fisher, as a matter of fact. That's who he is, Rayfield Fisher. He says, quote, when Glenn plays, all the TVs in Gary are on. Everybody here owns Glenn. He's our Glenn Robinson. Okay. So that's how they're looking at him. He's the town's hope, basically. They said that this guy says that Glenn represents something to Gary that Michael Jackson chose not to represent.
What is that?
Pissed at Michael Jackson. Quote, a lot of people are disappointed because the Jacksons didn't do anything for Gary. I don't care if they don't give any money to the city, but they won't even come back to visit. The impression is I get is they're ashamed of it. A person should never forget where he came from. Now, have you ever seen Neverland Ranch?
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Why go back?
I wouldn't remember that Gary, Indiana existed if I lived there. Existed. I'd be like, where am I? I'm from here. I've never left this property. It's amazing. What are you talking about?
But on the other hand, who's saying that they forgot? Maybe they remember and they were that place fucking sucks, and I'm not going back.
But so they're angry though at the Jacksons for just leaving Gary behind.
Okay.
But people know what Gary is because of the Jacksons.
Right.
So whether they leave it behind or not, it put it on the map.
It's the only reason I know what it is.
Right away. You said Jackson's, boom, like that. So it's one of those things, but they think that Glenn Robinson is going to represent Gary to the fullest. After his freshman year here, he's so good that people start to speculate that he's going to turn pro now, early. Really? So they're like, they think he's going to leave, but he says that he's not going to. He says that he does say though, quote, I guarantee you if the pro scouts selected the All-Americas, I'd have been on the first team, because this year he doesn't make first team All-America. So they think he's going to want to come back for a second season to make first team All-America. So he says though, that it was losing in the first round of the tournament that made him want to come back. back. He said, I felt we really didn't accomplish anything. I felt I would have left my teammates hanging if I had gone out on that note. He says, naturally, you don't want to leave your friends. That's the main reason I didn't leave. Also, I felt last year I wasn't mature yet. I wasn't ready to go off into that big world yet. Out there, you have to be able to deal with girls, agents, people trying to give you drugs, all that stuff. One morning, I'll wake up and know it's time. Well, I mean, that's a mature way of looking at it. Normally, they're like, I can't wait to have girls and agents and people trying to give me drugs. This is going to be awesome. How soon can I do that exactly? Because that's when I was 19. I think that's how I would have thought.
Somebody already told them that shit exists, and that's great, too.
That's the other thing. Yeah, but I mean, right, I would have been like, that sounds awesome at 19. So that's more mature. Yeah. So that's good stuff here. At one point, an agent told his high school coach that he was going to visit his mother and his stepfather, who's a guy named Jesse Mack, who lives with his mom. And the coach told the agent that was a good way to get shot. They're very private, leave them alone. Okay. Like, his stepdad will shoot you off the porch, which is interesting. They're apparently they tried to contact this Jesse Mack at his appliance repair store that he owns, and he said, quote, "We're not into interviews, I'm real busy," and hung up on them. Not interested in any of this shit, basically.
Don't want to talk about it.
Don't want to talk about it. They don't want to deal with agents or any of that shit. They're just like,
drugs, I don't want to talk.
That's it. Yeah, I don't want to. Are you an agent? You got girls and drugs? I know that's what you got.
Goodbye.
That's it. So the mother was very protective of him through this process. 93-94, he comes back. Team has a better year. They're 29-5 that year. They beat Central Florida 98-67 in the first round of the tournament. They beat Alabama 83-73 in the second round of the tournament. They beat number 4 overall seed Kansas 83-78, and then they finally lose to Duke, who was number 2 overall. Duke was nasty in the mid-90s. It's nothing to be ashamed of there.
Consistent, too.
So, 69-60, and he was so good. Like I said, this is where they measured him at 34 inch of a vertical leap. An Ohio State center named Gerald Eaker said that, quote, when he jumped and dunked on him, quote, "I didn't expect him to elevate that high. Yeah. He got the ball in the lane and he kept going up and up. There's really no way to guard him. All you try to do is contain him. I never played against anybody like that." So that's the type of guy he is. He's a man among boys here. Mm-hmm. So it's at this point that the LA Times decides to run an article about his dad being a scumbag. Because, why not?
Now.
So this is the one that's like, I think this is the like father, not like son, or whatever the hell it is here. So they talk about he lately has been in a lot of trouble. They said, quote, "The elder Robinson's felony problems began on October 4th, 1992, which is how the article starts here, when he stopped for a traffic violation and was allegedly, quote, had several packets of cocaine and heroin in his car. In the armrest there. So several of both, Jimmy. You don't want to get too high on one. No. That's the thing. You get too low, you get too high. You got to be able to balance yourself out. Okay. He's a man of, this is the thing, he's a man of moderation. That's what he does. He's like a little cocaine, a little heroin. Yeah. They go together. Okay. You balance. All right. Jesus Christ. You're looking at me like he's not a good guy, like he's not smart. This is smart. He's smart thinking. What are you thinking here? He was taken into custody. Apparently, it was weird. They held his samples of cocaine and heroin. They were tested in a state police lab in October 1993, and then he was charged with the felonies formally in January 1994.
How many felonies?
So it's 2. Okay. 2 felonies, possession of each and whatever. The court declared him to be indigent, which means he's got no money and can't pay for an attorney. Right. And they gave him a public defender. He couldn't make his $5,000 bail, so he was in county lockup still, and that's when they were like, that's when like the LA Times wanted to talk to him. "So your son's a big basketball star and you're a fuck up, huh?" And they put a microphone in his face. What do you think of that?
How you felonies?
How's that? How those felonies doing here? So it's pretty amazing here. He says that 2 days before the hearing, they got to talk to him. He said, quote, "If Glenn doesn't know I'm in here, then I don't want to talk to a reporter." I don't know why that if Glenn doesn't know, I guess I don't want Glenn to find out I'm in here through a reporter.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's what he means.
I think that's exactly what it means.
Yeah, but apparently, though, he does say that they find out that Glenn didn't know he was in there at this time, but they have talk to each other through his jail stints, apparently. At one point, they said that Glenn had sent a lawyer to help him out. Now, that's kind of funny that, you could say shit here, but obviously a college student probably can't afford
didn't do it.
a lawyer. Right. So a college student got somebody, alumni from Purdue, who's a lawyer to go over and help his dad, I assume.
That seems a little more plausible.
Yeah, probably not within NCAA regulations either here. So apparently one of a family friend they speak to says that Glenn recently saw his father on the streets, but had to turn away from him because he was a mess out there.
Really?
Yeah, he had to walk away here.
He saw him and
saw him out on the streets wandering around being a fucking crackhead, I guess, apparently. So they said, even the guy even said he even went into a slump in basketball for a few games after that. It depressed him. So we don't know if that's true or not. But a reporter said that when they were talking to Glenn Robinson for an article, they said they wanted to talk about his real father too, because Glenn just referred to Jesse Mack as his dad, and Glenn didn't want him mentioned at all. He's like, don't talk about my dad. And they were like, oh, but it's such a good story.
But can we please?
Oh, but come on. He's been arrested so many times. So many times. Why do we have access to all these police records if we don't do this?
We've been looking for you and we find nothing but him.
Yeah, that's Jesus. One of his friends says about Glenn and his dad, quote, he loves and respects him. That's Glenn loves his dad and respects him. He would love to have him around. He respects him as a father, and I know that he cares for his father. He has no grudges. I'd say he'd love to see him straighten out his life. And then his old basketball coach says he cares for his real dad, but he also cares for his mom, his stepdad, his teammates, his coaches. Glenn is a very sensitive kid. So that's how everybody kind of describes him, as he's like a sensitive kid. Yeah. The end of this article is hilarious, by the way. The last couple sentences is the corniest shit. It's such an article like this. Quote, somewhere he's out there, the old man that is. If he's smart, one day Robinson Sr. will follow the lead of Robinson Jr. He'll join his son on the right side of the street where people are good. That's literally the last,
But why? Glenn can be over there and be friends with the other people too.
That's Glenn can do both.
He can cross the street and be friends with his dad's friends.
That's right. Why can't we all intermingle? What the fuck? So his year here, junior year, I guess it is, 93-94 at Purdue, where they went to the tournament deep there. He played in 34 games, 30.3 points a game.
Wow.
And 10 rebounds. So, and 2 assists, 1.5 steals, about a block a game, 30 and 10. Doesn't happen a lot in college. That's some dominant shit. So, people treat him like he is, the next Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or some shit, or next Shaq or whatever at that time. I'm trying to think of, I guess Shaq would have been around for like 3 years, so he was a big deal. Glenn says, quote, I'm just regular like y'all. I'm a normal person, but if I go out to the mall, people stare at me. If I walk past someone, I'll look out of the corner of my eye and I'll see them all turn around. Little kids follow me sometimes, but there's nothing wrong with that. Because you're huge too. People are like, damn, that guy's enormous. He's 6'9", like 280 pounds. He's enormous.
That's so much man.
It's just a giant human being. So if anything, that's another reason to stare, even if they don't know who he is. I guess during this interview, there's a photographer there that's asking him to take his shirt off to show his tattoo. And he says he's not sure if he wants to do that or not. So he's got boundaries already as a kid, as a young man. He says, quote, see, it's hard to stay normal. When I go out, it's not like how I am around here. When I'm out in public, I'm very quiet. I like to keep to myself. I really don't like to talk to a lot of people, but that's just me. So he's a different kind of guy. He's a little different than most of the people here. And on January 8th, 1994, right around the time his dad gets formally charged with cocaine and heroin possession, he has a son of his own.
Oh my God.
A son of his own here, with a woman named Chantel Clay, who is a freshman at the University of Purdue University here. The son is born very premature.
Oh no.
And he's only 3 pounds when he's born.
Oh shit.
So very young, but he names him Glenn the Third. Let's have another.
Boy.
Let's have some more juniors.
God damn it. This story doesn't have enough Glenn Robinson in it.
Jermaine, get the shovel. This is crazy shit. So yeah, he spends the first 2 years of his life in an incubator, obviously, until he gets to be about 6 pounds. And so not an easy start for this kid here and for Glenn's child. By 3, though, he's in the Hammond, Indiana YMCA Children's Basketball League.
Oh wow,
Glenn the Third. Yeah.
By what?
Age 3.
He's in a league.
He's in a league. Now the ball is barely. There's barely enough room for a 3-year-old to dribble the ball. It's just a little one. I would hope so.
Gotta be.
And the hoop's got to be lower.
To?
Yeah, the hoop's got to be lower.
What is this?
At
shit?
3, there's nobody popping 10-foot hoop jumpers at 3 years old. That's very slim class of kids.
Are they playing on a little tykes?
I'm not sure. In the 7th grade, he was 5'6", grew to 6'1" as a freshman, and then 6'4" during his sophomore year. Junior, he's almost 6'6", so he's growing tall like his dad here. He'll have another son that we'll talk about. When Glenn decides now to go pro after his junior year, he's going to enter the NBA draft, and it's interesting. He's pissed off at Purdue, and we'll talk about why. They talk about in this article that this is just an article I saw here, and this kind of feeds into why he's pissed off. Okay. They talk about how at the bookstore, the Purdue bookstore across from the arena, there is a sign that says "Big Dog T-shirts sold here." So he's a moneymaker for them.
So they're making that for the school, with zero money going to him.
Oh no, yeah. This is what. Oh, by the way, this is what Tim Tebow says people shouldn't complain about. You should just live with it because
just enjoy it.
Just you bend over and take it, like you do in church. Sorry, Tim Tebow, you fucking asshole. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry for him. I'm sorry for people who go to church and don't molest kids, but Tim Tebow has learned to bend over and take it somewhere is all I'm saying.
He had to,
so
he's really
this is fucking ridiculous. Yeah. $15.99 these shirts are, and it has a dog dribbling a basketball with the words that say, "Big Dog is hungry tonight." Yeah. So there's that. Also, they have Robinson replica jerseys. They have his jersey. They just don't have the names on the back, but it's still his jersey. Right. $60 a pop. They're selling those for. They said they're selling like hot cakes.
It's just a Purdue jersey.
It's just a Purdue jersey with his number on it.
That's all it is.
Yeah, because they're not buying it.
$60.
All the other jerseys that don't sell, they just like those particular numbers. It's not because he's it's not that because it's his jersey.
Because this jersey's up close to the door, they can grab it easy.
It's a quicker one. That's all. We just ordered more larges in this size. That's all. It's ridiculous. Also, they have "Welcome to Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood" shirts. Those, but they have them for him with him on them, and they said, but at this point they're all sold out. the whole order's gone, and it's just that's it. So all sold out. The bookstore, they're like, man, it's flying off the shelf like hotcakes. Boy, it's crazy.
Why do they have such demand?
It's amazing. This is so cool. He's pissed off. He's like, he calls it profiteering on behalf of Purdue, which I would agree with. They've sold thousands upon thousands of shirts. I mean, every home game they're just selling tons of these shirts, and he says it sucks. He says he wants it to stop. He says, quote, "I felt I was exploited. They played me like I was a dumb kid. They think I'm supposed to see a Big Dog T-shirt and just smile because they put my picture on it. Meanwhile, they're smiling and they've got a pocket full of my money."
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Fucking smart. Yes, exactly. He's 25 years ahead of his time. Right. That's exactly right. You're smart. Now they've had 2 states now that have passed laws that are trying to go. New York passed it too now. And New York and California passed laws saying that kids can profit from their shit in college, and I hope those stand up because the NCAA will challenge.
Richard Sherman says he hopes that it fucking destroys college.
I hope it does too. I don't care if it does. If everyone's like, "Well, I like watching my football," that's fine. Good. But you know what? The whole thing's not fucking fair. Right. We need to figure out a way to make it fair, and if it needs to be blown up to be rebuilt, then fine. Because at this point, it's bullshit.
Right.
At this point, it's a load of shit. Now that we know how dangerous football is and how much these kids are putting their future health and everything else on the line, they're not doing it for free anymore. That's bullshit.
Ask that guy.
Not while you're making a bunch of money.
Ask the guy that just shot a woman in the fucking shoulder, winged her.
That's what I mean.
And he's telling him that the Russian mafia is after him, and he told them that he was diagnosed with a clinical psychosis because there's water on his brain.
Yeah.
Caused by concussion.
That's what I mean.
It's dangerous.
Terrible. Well, not only that, it's just everything else. It's limping around. It's all that sort of shit. it's enough already. It's
it
enough.
ruins your body. It ruins your brain.
It's too big of a business now for that. When it was in the 50s, it was still bullshit, but at least no one was making a ton of money. They didn't have a big TV deal. They didn't have billions of dollars in TV deal.
Stadiums
They didn't
worth
have
billions.
110,000 seat stadiums that they build for insane amounts of money. $100 million workout facilities.
Right.
These universities build $100 million fucking athletic centers.
Gym.
That's insanity. And the kids get ugats.
Nothing.
Not a fucking dime for even their t-shirts. So it's silly. It's just silly. So he's angry about that. June 29th, 1994 is the NBA draft. And this is a chock full of, future stars draft here. He goes number 1 overall to Milwaukee here, which is in this class. That's saying a lot.
Pretty great.
Number 2 overall, Jason Kidd out of Cal. Number 3, Grant Hill.
Wow.
Out of Duke. Danielle Marshall.
Grant Hill just retired yesterday.
Like 3 days ago. He was still.
Jesus Christ.
He played forever. For a guy who was so injured on the front end of his career. So he just was like, well, when I'm 50, I'll be healthy, though.
Now he's coaching, I think.
Yeah, he just figured out HGH probably. That's all. I think that's probably all it is. Yeah, I think so. Also, Juwan Howard is in this draft. Eric Montrose. Remember that big flat top
fucking douche.
UNC
He was terrible.
Center, big white center. I think he was double zeros.
Did he go to 76ers?
Montrose Boston.
That's right.
They're like a big giant pasty center.
Right.
Holy shit. He'll fit in perfectly.
Remember how fucking bad they were for so long?
Oh yeah, they were
Jesus,
bad.
He was number 6?
Yeah, he was he was number 9 overall.
Okay.
Brian Grant, Lamont Murray were also in there. Sharon Wright, Eddie Jones was a real good scorer for a while. Carlos Rogers, Carlos, Eddie Jones.
Isn't that Popeye Jones?
No, I don't think so.
Wasn't his name Popeye?
I don't think so. I just remember it was Eddie Jones for the Heat.
No way, the guy named Pop. There's really a guy named Popeye Jones.
No, it's really a Popeye.
Is that his real name?
Popeye Jones.
Oh God, I hope that's a nickname.
Or if it's a nickname, it's one that you never hear his real name. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's not like a barely said thing.
Okay.
Yeah, Eddie Jones is just Eddie Jones. Jalen Rose in this. So, I mean, that whole Michigan team here, except the
Chris Webber came out the year before.
Yeah, the year before, exactly here. So it's a good first round. A lot of future, people in here. Wesley Person, Chuck's little brother.
Oh yeah.
So he's chosen by the Bucks. They offer him a contract, and he says, "Nope, holding out for what I want." This was a time period when NBA contracts were going through the roof, and so were MLB, all the sports, because it was just a matter of sports. Cable had made sports a whole other thing, to where there was competition and
there was
TV deals are worth a lot of money.
In the NBA right here,
huge boom. It was the Michael Jordan effect of the whole thing, and the '80s, gigantic. The '80s effect too. From '85 to now, the NBA had just been skyrocketing in popularity, and at this point, it was. I mean, we're talking Space Jam time. It's huge right now. So he says, I would like a 10-year deal worth a shitload of money, like a fuckload of it. And so he holds out for a while, and it's interesting because it's affecting the Senate race of the owner of the team, Herb Kohl, who owns the Bucks, and literally during his Senate campaign, a little press conferences, and all they ask him about is where are your negotiations standing with Big Dog?
How you doing with your number 1 pick?
And he's like, I'd like to talk about the Middle East.
And they're like, no.
Let me tell you about Israel.
Downtown.
Now, the West Bank, I think he'll be a great forward.
Right.
But what I'm saying is they shoot rockets.
When's he starting?
There's rockets. We need to intercept there's terrorists on the borders.
Is he coming to camp? Is he going to be working out today?
I'll sign him, okay? Just shut the fuck up. So I think that helps Glenn, though, in the negotiations, because it's a lot of pressure on the owner.
Hell yeah.
When he's trying to run for Senate and they're asking him about whether they're going to sign his rookie power forward or not. That's weird, you know? So they end up signing him. He puts the pressure on. 10 years, fully guaranteed, $68.15 million contract.
Unreal.
He gets. So he comes out of college and set for life on day one.
Is that the biggest contract at that time?
At that time, it is the biggest contract in history signed by an NBA rookie.
Wow.
No incentive or performance goals in it either.
Everything is just up front.
Straight
We're just
guaranteed.
Give it to you.
Straight guarantees. No, you could not. He could go out and average 2 points a game.
What agent did it?
And wash out for, I don't know, but I would like his phone number.
Hell
Glenn, if you could send, we love our agents, but that's insane.
That's amazing.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's silly. This is just silly time.
1 year deal. I'll stop podcasting next year.
Yeah. That kind of money, you bet your ass.
Wow.
It's the biggest deal ever. Jason Kidd gets the second biggest deal ever. He gets a 9-year, $54 million contract.
Out of the gate.
Out of the gate, man. That's what it was about back then. You had to do that. Now they've structured it differently, where the rookies for like 3 years, they don't get paid very much.
Yeah.
And then they can get paid like a $700 million fucking salary over 8 years or some crazy shit.
Jason Kidd was such a turd.
He was such a douche.
Oh, dude.
He's such a fucking... I hear, too, I knew somebody who had gone to school at the same time he did, and he was known for being the dumbest person in school.
Really?
He went to Cal.
Yeah.
He went to fucking, that's a smart school.
Yeah.
And they said he was the dumbest person on campus.
Well, to give you
hands
more
down.
of an idea of how dumb he is, he bought a classic car, an unbelievable car, and brought it to a stereo
And hit
shop
his
that I
wife with
worked
it?
at. And picked it up and beat the shit out of his wife with it.
Took a door off and whooped her ass with it.
He brought it to a custom stereo shop and had us cut the shit out of that dash.
What a dummy.
At a place called that is known for the $1 wire fire. He brought it to us. Installation for $1.
Shit.
And we chopped the shit out of that car.
What a fucking idiot. Why would he do that?
Goddamn 67 Camaro, and we ruined it.
That is insane. That's wild.
Because he's a fucking moron.
I would say, yeah, from everything else he's done, too.
And he punches chicks.
Yeah, and then they hire him to coach teams.
Right.
I think he'd be a great leader.
Right.
He's a good point guard, but I mean, I don't know if he can inspire anybody.
You can tell him. Don't tell us that he's a great leader. Just tell us that we want to win.
Yeah,
and
here
he's
he
got
is.
a great fucking.
Look,
he's a dribbler.
We think he has a plan that doesn't involve domestic violence, and we're going to tell him to run with it.
Teaches a path to 15 assists a quarter.
Shit. So they finally reached the deal with Glenn Robinson at 2:00 in the morning the night before the season starts.
Really?
So that's how close it was. And they said, "How'd you reach a deal then?" And the owner of the team and Senate candidate said, "Quote: The season starts tomorrow. Glenn Robinson's a basketball player. He wants to play basketball.
Yeah.
And if I didn't give it to him, people would never shut the fuck up."
I like the Senate race, and I want to win.
I'd like to win, and I'm tired of talking about this guy. At the time, though, they're thinking this might cause some strife on the team, because at the time the club's highest paid player was Vin Baker, who had a 10-year contract as well, worth $16 million.
Really?
16 and 68 is a really
it's a vast number difference.
It's a chasm. That's
Also, Vin. Small forward, right?
Yeah, he was a good player too.
Yeah.
Him and Vin Baker 1 year, I think it was 96, 97 possibly. Only Jordan and Pippen were better scoring team in the whole league than Vin Baker and Glenn Robinson.
How about that?
You don't think about that.
A small forward and a shooting guard versus a power forward and a small forward. That's pretty amazing.
It's pretty good shit. And so Vin Baker says he's not mad about it. He says, quote, "We know what he can do for us, for this team, for this city. That's all that matters. We'll all be delighted to see him."
Yeah.
Grace.
And his bigger house than mine.
Bigger house, and I'm sure he's going to have a Bentley. That motherfucker! I want a Bentley. Jermaine, get the shovel. Grace. This is Grace. $68 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
That is Grace, man. I don't care what happens from there. From Grace, his dad is wanted this point.
Oh my
They're like,
God.
Congratulations. So your dad's on the street, wanted by the cops. Pretty cool, huh?
Wow, your dad's homeless with a warrant. How's that $68.15 million treating you?
It's almost got to put a damper on it for about 3 seconds. And then you're like, no way, the seats are so soft. The leather on them, it doesn't even feel like leather.
It's leather. It feels like suede.
It feels like velvet. It's so weird. Feel it. It's crazy. That's leather. Can you believe that was on a cow's ass at one point?
That used to be a cow's ass.
So it's the Lake County Police. They say they have an outstanding warrant for his arrest on cocaine and heroin possession charges. He says, quote, "I didn't like," this is Glenn, this is Junior here, our Glenn, "I didn't get to know him like a son should know his father because he really wasn't around. But I'm not ashamed of my father. A lot of people have said that when I see him, I turn away. That's not true. I would never turn away from my own father." He says that article was bullshit, and that he never turned away from him, and he does know where he is. He's not missing. He says, quote, "If I want to find my father, I know exactly where he lives. I don't need to go searching for him."
The third creosote down the trail.
He is directly behind the 7-Eleven. That's where he stays. He's got a nice dumpster. It's the best one in the neighborhood. It's really sweet. Put a hot tub out back.
He has hung a Frigidaire box in a tree like a hammock. It's so comfy.
It's pretty cool. It's not bad.
I was impressed.
He's also figured out a way to have a broken down El Camino in his driveway. He doesn't even have a driveway. So it's trashy, but I like it. In 94...
We like to call it hood grimy.
You know how it is. 94-95 Milwaukee Bucks. This is... Nobody cared about the Milwaukee Bucks at all back then.
It was tough.
It was
tough going for that team.
Tough bucking at this point. Yeah. This is Vin Baker, John Barry, not even Brent Barry, the other Barry, Todd Day. I remember Todd Day being on that team.
He was a handsome dude.
From Arkansas there, Todd Day. Lee Mayberry, the other. Anybody from Arkansas?
Was bad.
Yeah, he was a little shit too. Lee Mayberry, he's a little point guard, I believe.
A shooting guard, maybe.
I just see, though, he has my birthday. We're both June 12th, so
how about that?
Good for you, Lee Mayberry.
He was great.
He's great guy. Ed Pickney. Remember old Ed Pickney there. So this is not a real exciting team as we've gone over it. Then they're not very good either. They're under 500.
That's the starting five?
That's their like whole team pretty much. There's, other guys, Alton Lister as a center, guys, Eric Murdoch, Aaron Williams, Johnny Newman. It's not a powerhouse squad.
Two.
Yeah, you're not shocked at the record when you see they won like 20 games that year. You're like, that's.
But it was exciting a couple of plays.
Yeah, Vin Baker and Glenn Robinson. That's why they're scoring. That's why they're scoring so much. No, who the fuck else is going to do it?
Glenn had a hell of a 18-foot jumper too.
Oh hell yeah,
that was great.
He would pull up from three like nobody's. He was one of those fat guys who you'd see him just hanging out in the corner and he'd just shoot those corner threes, and you're like, how did you slide in there, you fat bastard? Yeah. So 94-95 here. He plays in 70, or he plays in 80 games and starts 76 games as a rookie.
Really?
So they throw him right in there. 37 minutes a game as a rookie. That's a lot. That really is a lot. 21.9 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.4 steals. Goddamn good rookie season. Can't beat it. I mean, you can't ask for more than that for a guy, especially a young kid playing inside. It takes a couple years usually physically for them to get used to playing inside in the NBA, especially back then.
But I mean, $68 million will make you try your
make you
hardest.
Go throw your ass at somebody. But especially back then, inside was you had to be a man to go inside. I mean, there was elbows flying. There was a lot of pushing and shoving. Rodman and Oakley and Olajuwon and Ewing and these guys.
No, they're in the West.
Who?
The Bucks.
The Bucks. Yeah, the Bucks are in. So, the Bucks. Yeah, no,
they're in the West.
They're in the East.
No, they're in the West.
Yeah, what am I talking about?
They've got to be.
Yeah. So
no,
they're
might
there.
They're in the East.
Yeah, I see their all-star jerseys. Yeah. 95-96 season here. It starts all 82 games. Over 39 minutes a game he plays. 20.2 points, 6.1 rebounds, 3.5 assists. He ups those numbers. Some steals, some blocks. Not too shabby. Makes $3,770,000
rookie year
for his second year. For a rookie year, made $2.9 million.
All right.
For the rookie year.
So he's got 5 in the bank.
Well, so I mean, he's made almost 7. So 2.9 and 3.7.
Is that almost 7?
So yeah, that is $6.6 million.
You're right.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
That's bad math.
That's terrible math. Too bad you don't have a jump shot. You're lucky you got a funny laugh.
Sure didn't get me 6.6 million.
That's your version of a 34-inch vertical jump. That's what you have naturally.
Fuck yeah.
You had to work on the rest of it.
That shit,
you had
Glenn.
to work on the rest of your game of being funny, but the laugh is like your vertical jump. That's your natural shit. And you had to add to that game. Yeah, you had to add to the game. What you've done here. So, 1996, Glenn has announced that he will be on Dream Team 2. The second Dream Team, which was a huge deal because the first Dream Team was the biggest thing in the history of basketball. But
it was disappointing.
It is an issue, and Glenn is even more disappointed because he doesn't actually play on that team.
What?
If you remember, he's not on that team.
Why?
He's replaced by Gary Payton on the team.
Really?
Officially, they put out that it's because of injury.
Right.
But right after the selection, he also gets arrested for threatening a female gas station attendant.
Get Get out of here.
It was kept a lot under the radar, and there was a couple of reporters that found it out, and they were like, look, let's call bullshit when we see it here. He's not on the Olympic team because of an injury that he's not injured at all. It's because he just got arrested for threatening a female gas station attendant, and nobody wants to explain that shit. That's why. They replaced him with Gary Payton, who's he's great, but just as surly as him. So, but
just as much,
hasn't assaulted a female gas station attendant recently, at least. So
that we know of.
That helps. That helps. So
that one may have been kept out of the public though, because he seems to. He's a monster.
Yeah, he's done.
That's a fucking scary man.
He is. He was so good. God damn, was he good? What a great defender.
Yeah.
So he's removed from the Olympic team here, and also they're talking about in an article like you don't see him on any endorsements, do you?
No,
he gets no shit, and he didn't. He really didn't. He's known as kind of a quiet, surly cat that just kind of sticks to himself. He's not real. He's not real friendly. He doesn't go out looking for business opportunities
also,
or anything like that.
Fucking why would you? You don't need to.
I mean, he's good, but the problem is, too, he plays in Milwaukee, which is a problem. Unless you play for the Packers, playing in Milwaukee is not, or playing in Wisconsin, if anything, you might as well be on Mars, basically.
And on that
You're
team.
just not, that's the thing, too. You're playing on the Bucks. Nobody gave a shit about the team. The team had no heat as far as that goes. Even on SportsCenter, they'd breeze through those highlights in 2 minutes.
The Bucks played tonight. Moving on.
Glenn Robinson dunks, Vin Baker hits a jumper, and then we move on to the Magic game, because Shaq and Penny are way more interesting back then. That's what it was, though. So 96, 97, he just plays regular basketball instead of on the Dream Team. So tough going for him. But he plays in 80 games that year, averages 39 points a game, 21.1 points a game. So he's very consistent, around 20 to 21 points a game, 6.3 rebounds. So every year he had 6.4, 6.1, 6.3. So he's consistent as shit. You know what you're getting with Glenn Rice. Or Glenn Rice.
Glenn Robinson. That's who I thought of.
That's what I mean. Glenn Robinson. And he knows what he's getting as well, which is $4,640,000 for that season, which is awesome.
Jesus, that's great.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Now, 97, 98, he's playing in that season. This is the 56 games he plays in this season. And he is arrested in December of 97 for disorderly conduct outside of a Milwaukee nightclub. Which, now, he had to be doing something terrible. That's not just drunkenness.
No, because Milwaukee will tolerate some shit.
To get arrested for drunkenness in Milwaukee, I don't know what your blood alcohol level has to be.
Jeffrey Dahmer's boyfriend was...
Sir, your blood alcohol level is Leinenkugel. We're taking you in. I'm sorry.
So your blood alcohol it's
too much.
Shandy.
I applaud the seasonal nature of your blood, but we're going to have to take you in for this. I believe that's that's over the limit. Right? Yeah. We could have let you go if it was a spring tart. We could have let you go, but the summer we can't let you go on the summer. It's too
this
alcohol
was pumpkin
content.
Spice.
I'm sorry.
We'd be a little more generous.
Hands behind your back. I'm very sorry. Here, don't worry. There's some curds in the back seat for you. Just put your
squeaky cheese. Get in there.
Put them on your face like a feed bag, and that should hold you over till we get to the till we get there, and then we'll have a full spread at the jail.
Jeffrey Dahmer's drugged and drunk boyfriend back to him.
They're like, we're sorry. Did you lose a Filipino child?
Can you get this child out of the street, sir?
Did you lose a naked Filipino sex thing? Is that? Jimmy. Jermaine, get the show. Jimmy fell off his chair.
Filipino sex thing.
I don't know why.
I am so sorry to Jeffrey's
that poor young man.
Sex thing. Holy shit.
I think that's what Dahmer would have.
I just collapsed.
He fell off the chair. Headphones off his head.
That about broke my ribs, forcing air out of my fucking chest. Unreal. But they returned him. So what do you got to do, Glenn, to be arrested?
Outside of a nightclub. If that's not disorderly.
Yeah.
Losing your underage Filipino sex thing. If that's not disorderly, I don't know what the fuck is.
Right.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
With holes in his head.
Holes in his head, all nude. Did you lose? Are you going to patch those holes up? Put some some underwear on him? All right.
Looks like he's leaking acid out of his forehead.
I don't know. Super weird, right? You'll take care of this? Good. Good. I got one sitting on the bar waiting for the foam to go down, so I'm going to get down there and hit that up.
Holy shit.
We'll be in Milwaukee on December 6th. It's Small Town Murder. Jimmy's going to test how drunk you can get in the streets. I bet pretty drunk. It's winter, too, so they won't care.
Keep clear of the naked Filipino sex things.
I would. If you see any, avoid them because you don't want to get linked with them legally. You know, that's a problem.
Holy shit.
He's arrested for disorderly conduct for some reason here outside of a Milwaukee nightclub. This won't be the last time
really?
Outside of a nightclub. Not in Milwaukee, though. He straightens up his shit in Milwaukee here. So 97-98 season, 23.4 points a game.
Yeah.
Ups his points, 5.5 rebounds, 2.8 assists. So still great times, doing well. $5.51 million. $5,510,000 that year for Glenn. So every year his contract escalates. It's not a bad life for him. And he's so, imagine just knowing no matter what.
Oh my God, there's a huge payday coming.
Yeah, unless the NBA collapses.
Yeah.
And even then, this guy still owes you the fuck. He's a billionaire.
Right.
The guy, he's a really rich guy.
The guy's running for Senate.
And all this. He's going to have to pay you anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to at least get pennies on the dollar.
Right.
You're getting money.
Yeah.
So, 98-99, this is the strike shortened season here. 47 games played. He, 18.4 points a game. And, this is where a lot of guys came in out of shape, because they never knew when the strike was going to end.
Yeah.
So, like, whenever there's a strike in sports, guys are like, cool, and they hang out, and they eat, and they don't practice, and they fuck around.
Haagen-Dazs.
A lot of guys do,
boy.
And then they want to know, like, ahead of time, then I have, like, a month to get in shape, and they get in shape, but then the strike just ends like that, and they're like, we're playing next week, and they're like, oh, shit, Jesus Christ, doing sit-ups like crazy.
I've just been playing NBA Live the past 6 months.
Man, I figured that was good to hold me. It's good training.
I've been playing basketball.
I've been playing.
Yeah.
I've been using the Bucks sometimes. Sometimes they're pretty boring.
Then it feels a little egotistical.
Yeah.
I feel a little like I'm going too far.
I traded myself to the Rockets, if that's okay. They're having a much better time than me, than us over here.
You guys, you'd be surprised what happens when we have a center and a point guard. We should get one.
Olajuwon, Kenny Smith, and Vernon Maxwell. It's a pretty solid squad. I'm not going to lie.
Bananas,
Robert Horry coming off the bench hitting those threes. Just saying. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good squad.
That Mario Ellie coming through.
Forget about it.
Oh, my God. We're dominating.
It's dominating. It absolutely is. He makes $6,380,000 that year for a shortened season. June 28th, 1999. This is postseason here. We are in Miami. It is 2:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
So when we set that dateline, Miami, 2:15 a.m.
Uh-oh.
And it's a basketball player.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good.
No.
It's not like he helped deliver a baby who was, a pregnant mother's taxi had broken down, and he pulled her out and delivered the child right there on the street, laid his giant shirt down to shield it from the dirt.
Harold Miner and Steve Smith didn't go walk.
All three together.
Yeah, didn't go volunteer at a goddamn Boy Scout fundraising troop.
No, what they did is they all together in one day built a home for Habitat for Humanity.
There you go.
All at the same time.
Jimmy Carter,
impressive.
Everybody was there.
They were all there. Also, then the next day, they said, you know what, that was so fun. Let's build a Ronald McDonald house on top of it for sick children.
All night long. 2:30, all the way to 2:30 in the morning.
Awesome. But then at 2:15 in the morning, then there's problems. It's a place called Club Chaos.
Yeah.
Which, that
does not sound like Habitat for Humanity.
Miami, 2:15 a.m., Club Chaos. Professional athlete. Bad shit's going to happen. Uh-oh. It's the crime in sports comes in to check it out here. He is denied entrance to the club.
Oh, fuck.
Don't deny an NBA player who makes $7 million a year
a guy
entrance.
Named Big Dog.
A huge guy, because he thinks he fucking can go anywhere he wants, anytime he wants, and you fucking $8 an hour clipboard guy just told him he can't come in.
Yeah.
Now, that's not from me. That's in Glenn's mind, the way he's thinking about it. How dare this guy tell the big dog I can't come in a club? I could buy this club. What are you talking about? Because he wasn't dressed properly.
Oh, he was there's a dress code here, and he is not adhering.
And he's like,
and he wants to get in anyway.
Yeah, he's like, bitch, you know how much fucking rich I am? Because his whole thing is, I'll dress however the fuck I want.
Yeah.
You know how expensive whatever the shit I'm wearing is?
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I make so much. I'm so rich, I can dress like a bum. And you'll be like, well, he could dress well if he wanted to. And let him in. Like, that's his mind.
Can I just point out real quick that the phrase, it doesn't matter, now means so much more to me after watching Stevie, the documentary.
Oh, my God. Isn't it great?
The guys fishing. How
my
depressing
God.
is it when that guy keeps saying, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. His friend, is it Tim is his name?
Yeah.
His friend is the nicest man in the world.
I was crying for him.
Like, yeah.
Because he's sitting there while a caterpillar.
The millipede.
Yeah.
It's a millipede.
Is that what that
it's
is?
A giant millipede crawling on him.
What?
Like goes like under his shirt sleeve,
it's
right?
crawling on his shirt, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
And then it goes like in his thing.
Oh, the
he's
thing's
just,
going up his... I'm like,
he's so drunk.
Caterpillar.
Doesn't even notice. He's just like, mm-hmm.
It goes up his shirt sleeve, and right at that moment, he goes, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They're just fishing in silence. I don't know. He's like, I heard things. I heard he's a molester and everything, but
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. We're just hanging out. I mean, he's not judging anybody.
No.
This guy would be like, he should be what a priest is.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm not judging you. Just, we'll go fishing. You tell me about yourself.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Did you
but
to see?
You know that's a man who's just at his end of his rope and has no motivation to kill himself. So he just goes through every day just muttering, it doesn't matter.
Blows his truck engine out trying to get back there in the mud too. There's smoke coming out there looking at him.
Trip fishing costs him so much money.
Everything. Probably can't get to work now, and he's like, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, James. He worked 4 months or 4 weeks out of the year anyway, and you don't know how long it is that we're in the year.
No.
And he just looks at the camera and goes, nope, that ain't good.
Nope, that ain't good. No. That guy I feel, he's just like, he'll sit there and think about something, and he'll just go, nah, I don't know. He's got enough, doesn't matter. Now, you got to see Stevie ask the white supremacist for help in the field.
I am almost there.
Okay.
And I cannot wait.
Les Mis guy.
Yeah.
At one point, just watch this. Everybody out there who watches Stevie, I'm not sure which podcast we talked about this on, Crime and Sports.
I think it was Small Town Murder.
Okay, there's a documentary called Stevie by the guy who it's Steve James did the documentary. He's not Stevie, but Steve James, he's the guy who directed Hoop Dreams. Oh, if you're listening to this, you might know what Hoop Dreams is. It was like an Academy Award-winning documentary about kids coming through high school into college for basketball and what that process was like. Well, he did a thing where it's a documentary about Steve James, who's a filmmaker, and when he was in college, he entered the Big Brother, Big Sister program and was a big brother to a kid named Stevie, who turned out to be a fucking disaster, who's just this white trash guy who lives in like a trailer on his grandmother's property in the middle of nowhere, southern Illinois. He dates a mentally challenged woman who I don't know what's wrong with her. She's disabled in several ways, I feel like. And this is no insult, but it's weird that he's like, this is my fiance.
Right.
And you're like, what? It's just different.
I want all these bears from the crane machine. That one right there. My girlfriend also has one with the hot stuff written all over it. That's how they introduce
the one with
her.
The one with that hot stuff on there. That's how he says it, actually. The one, quote, with that hot stuff on there. Because it says hot stuff written on it. That's how he talks.
So he gave her that, and then they introduce her, and that's how they pan to her, and this is hot stuff, and you're like, whoa,
and she's
Jesus.
like rubbing her eye with the back of her hand going, Stevie, you're like, what the fuck is happening? I'm not trying to be, I'm dead serious.
Yes,
I'm not trying to be mean.
That's a very indicative personality trait when you say rubbed their eye with the back of
specific, you see that person.
You know exactly what's happening.
Got that hot stuff on there. So
there's a problem.
There's issues. So he ends up he ends oh God!
Nothing was more fucking apropos.
I think she does it. That's why.
Such a picture.
I've seen that thing a million times.
Yeah, it's so good. I can't stop watching it.
At one point, though, Stevie is in trouble for molesting his niece, and that is why Steve James decides to catch up with this guy just to see what happened to his little brother. Right. It's supposed to be just
2 years prior to that incident, he met up with him.
It's just supposed to be this little short little art documentary that he's shooting about these people meeting later on in life after they were big brothers, and you know, what would that be like? And instead, it turns out
stumbled on this shit.
This guy gets arrested for molesting his niece, and he's like, maybe I'll go back and talk to him a little more.
Well, now,
and it just the whole thing unfolds. And anyway, Stevie's going to go to prison at one point for molesting, obviously, and so he goes to the local leader of the white or as the guy puts it, I'm running the Aryan Brotherhood around here.
Yeah,
that he goes to the local leader of the Aryan Brotherhood to ask him for protection for when he goes into prison. Will you put the word out that, you know, stick up for Stevie, because when they see my charges, I'm going to get the shit beat out of me, and it's not going to be good for me. So this guy, Dale is his name. He's got a nice blonde, like curly mullet, and he sits there looking at him, and he's like, let me ask you a question. He's like asking him all this nonsense, asking questions, answering them. Stevie has no idea what's going on. He's just like, can you make them not fuck me, please? That's all I'm asking for. He has no idea what's happening.
His girlfriend's rubbing her eye with the back.
I don't know what's happening. And at one point, his buddy is sitting there. The Aryan Brotherhood leader's buddy is sitting there listening too. Yeah. And he's like nodding his head to everything. And at one point, the leader says something so crazy that even his friend purses his whole face and turns to him like, the fuck are you talking about? Dale, we didn't talk about that part. But the funny part
is... You're going rogue on me, Dale.
You're going rogue on me, Dale. I don't know nothing about it. I like it. No, I like it. I like what you said. Don't get me wrong. I like a freestyle once in a while.
We call you Maverick behind your back.
I know. You crazy boy. What? This is all going on in the most...
You're on fire today.
I think we're both delirious. So this is happening in a field in the middle of southern Illinois with three hillbillies talking about, you know, Aryan Brotherhood, will you protect me in jail for molesting my niece? And the guy who's got the funny look on his face, like, what the fuck are you talking about, Dale, has a Les Mis t-shirt on. That was a long story to get to this, but somehow this shit-kicking hillbilly Nazi who lives in the middle of nowhere, I like my theater. I like musical theater. You got a problem with that? Them songs get in my head all catchy like.
I'm a big Rent and Les Mis fan.
Les Mis fan, understand? I've seen Cats 27 times. Hear me? I like the classics.
I got tickets for Wicked.
That's right. They ever open Oklahoma again. Front row opening night, buddy. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what.
Front of the band pit.
That's right. So... this is what's happening in Stevie is what we're talking about anyway. So it's a fucking mess, basically.
And that guy is just how depressed he is.
Oh,
and
God.
He's fine with it. Is amazing.
Yeah. So you need to see Stevie is what I'm getting. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. It's incredible.
Most fascinating thing in the world. Wait till they go to Chicago. You haven't seen that part. And they meet up with...
It's the luckiest... just things of lining up.
It couldn't have lined up better.
Unreal.
Just for a documentary purpose.
How it just did that.
He just decides to just hang out with this guy, and it unfolds in the craziest way. His brother and sister, his sister and brother-in-law, the whole thing's insane. So apparently, though, he's not dressed properly, Glenn Robinson.
Right.
Not dressed properly at all. He's at the door, pissed off. Yeah. Obviously, probably saying this is more expensive than your car.
Right.
Fuck you, blah, blah, blah. So police officers were called to try to calm him down and ask him to leave the area. And it's at that point that he turned to them and to the officers and yelled, I ain't talking to you. I'm yelling at this motherfucker, to which they're like, oh no, we've directed the conversation now this way, and we have guns. So we get to tell you who you're talking to now. That's the way it works with guns.
Meanwhile, he's probably wearing like an Anwood fit, you know what I mean? And the logo on his chest is bigger than the doorman.
And he's probably got a $14,000 watch on. Like, let him in. He's Glenn Robinson.
He'll be fine.
What are we doing here?
He could pay his tab.
Yeah, he's not going to, exactly. It's all good here. And they said it's at this point that he became, in the police report, quote, aggressive and appeared to be on the verge of physical violence. He appeared to have a strong smell of alcohol on his breath and was already drunk, which was another reason to not let him in the club here. His friends tried to pull him away, but he became even more belligerent, flinging his friends off of him like some sort of deranged King Kong figure.
Just a 6'8" basketball player
throwing
who's been drinking
that has small people on him. He's just like throwing them off like little planes, swatting them out of the sky.
Probably not difficult.
He's going to dominate the whole. He's going to be on top of the building in a second, going, "I'm so much bigger than all of you." I'm fucking huge.
Yeah.
Let me into the club. I can pick you up and put you over here.
I will eat the news helicopter.
Do you understand that? Yeah, he's a giant angry man. And so, he's slurred speech, bloodshot eyes, smell of alcohol, drunk stuff.
Yeah.
So he's taken to the Miami jail here, where he is released after posting $500 bond. And so not great. Disorderly intoxication is what he's charged with. None of his friends wanted to press charges for flinging him around like rag dolls, obviously.
Because they want to go back to the next club.
Yeah, and he's got the cover.
He's
doing that shit.
Fucking ticket in.
That's right. 99, 2000 here. He's an all-star for the first time.
Yeah.
Starts 81 games that year. 20.9 points a game here. Very good. 6 rebounds. He's having his typical Glenn Robinson 20-6 season.
Mm-hmm.
He's an all-star. He makes $7,250,000 that year.
My God.
Killing it. 2001, 76 games he's in. He averages 22 points a game and almost 7 rebounds. So he has a better year this year. This is his best year in the NBA so far in terms of both of those things, and even more assists than normal, 3.3 assists. He's an all-star again, and he makes $8,120,000.
Holy shit.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Just one season of his, I'm fine.
He's made over $15 million in the last 2 years of this right now. It's 2 all-star seasons.
Ridiculous.
And right now, for an all-star player, that's less than half. That's like half a season.
Right.
But for then, that's
40 games.
Huge money, yeah. 2001, 2002, Milwaukee again here. He plays in 66 games, 20.7 points a game, 6.2 rebounds. Glenn Robinson is Mr. 20-6. That's what you're getting out of him.
You're getting it.
He makes $8,990,000 that year. So stacking shit. Mm-hmm. He's fucking stacking. My God damn.
Paper for sure.
That is awesome. So July 30th, 2002, 3 a.m.
Uh-oh.
Never good.
Oh, God.
Whenever we give a time, it's always bad. Whenever that time is between 12 a.m. and midnight and 5 in the morning, it's even worse.
Yeah.
So it's July 30th, 2002, 3 a.m. He's got his ex-girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't have her. They're not together at this moment in time. Mm-hmm. He has a 3-year-old daughter at this point, and is also, this is different from Glenn Jr.'s. This isn't Glenn the Third's mom.
Okay.
This is a different woman here that he's got more kids with here.
God.
So this is his former fiance, and he shows up at 3 o'clock in the morning, angry, wanting to see the 3-year-old daughter.
No.
Okay. She ends up letting him in.
Why?
Eventually. And this is when shit gets really, really fucking weird, okay? This is, I don't even know. He threatened to hit her with a plastic plant at one point. He said he wants the gun. He had brought a gun to this home earlier in the week, and he said he wants this gun from her right now. He threatens to hit her with a fake plant from the house, and then she doesn't do it, so he takes the fake plant. Rather than hitting her with it, he pulls off all the petals of the fake plant one at a time.
What the fuck?
I don't know if he's like, I'll strip this fucking plant bare, or if she's like, I don't care, it's a fake plant.
It's awfully threatening, though.
But yeah, the weirdest. Yeah, it's the most ominous, weirdest, most childish way to threaten somebody I've ever seen. I'll pull all the petals off your fake plant. It's fucking weird.
He knows it's fake, right? Or is he so drunk he doesn't realize
He might be like, this smells pretty good, though. I'm going to eat it. It's pretty good.
Right.
It's not bad. You should try it sometime. So, apparently this happens, and he wants the gun. He forces her into the upstairs bedroom and repeatedly punches and kicks her at this point. She says that this is someone he's known her since Purdue. Yeah. They got together when he was at Purdue,
and he's repeatedly beating on her.
Yeah. So then he says, "Give me the gun that I gave to you, so I can shoot myself.
Oh boy.
I'd like to shoot myself now.
What?
Please give me my gun."
What is happening?
So she instead was very scared at this point, and then he said, "Look, I'm ready to die, and we're both going to die."
No.
And yeah, now it said, I'm ready and you're coming with me, bitch.
Oh,
so
God.
that now we're in a whole another level of crazy.
What happened?
Picking the pedals off and punching and kicking, that's one thing, but I'm ready to die and you're coming with me?
How did we get here?
That is another thing completely. She said she was feared that she was going to be killed, so she said the gun's in here in some other place. When he went to look for it, she ran out of the house.
Smart.
And escaped and went banged on a neighbor's door and called the police. Thank fuck for that. So they come in. She originally said no. Her name's Jonta French. She said no. He became angry, and that's it. It's alleged that he hit her several times in the hip and thigh, and then drug her around asking for the gun. Then he chased her around outside before the cops got there. Yeah. She ran out, went to call the cops, came back outside. He found her, started chasing her around. When the cops showed up, he's chasing her around outside, talking about, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
We all die tonight and shit.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, this is a little much. It's a little fucking crazy here. So, you know, he's going to have to go to court for that one. He's released on a $5,000 bond. He is charged with all sorts of shit that we'll get into in a minute here. But, yeah, it's a lot. That's a big appearance. That's a big crime in sports.
Oh, that's heavy.
Going into the ex-fiance's house, threatening to kill her with a gun and beating her and chasing her around outside.
Threatening murder-suicide.
Threatening murder-suicide.
He's got nothing to lose.
Which is even crazy. That means, he's at the end of his rope and he doesn't like you either. That's fucking scary.
I hate me and I hate you too.
Jermaine's looking in the window, just fucking waiting. He's fogging it up with his breath with the fucking shovel over his shoulder.
Going, there's nothing here for me.
Nothing here. Got nothing. So he is traded at this point. Milwaukee has had enough.
Yeah.
They trade him in August of 2002, so pretty much right after this.
Did he?
2 weeks
Go
later.
ahead.
2 weeks later, he's traded to the Hawks for Tony Kukoc and Leon Smith, and a 2003 draft pick.
He went to Atlanta?
So, he played in Atlanta for a while, and I mean, Christ almighty, he gets down there, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Now he's 2 weeks ago he was like Mr. Milwaukee.
Right.
He was the guy of Milwaukee, and now it's him and Brett Favre.
Right.
And now it's he's being shipped off to Atlanta because he acted like a maniac in the middle of the night. I like how they act like they treat domestic abusing players like this, like the Catholic Church treats priests.
You get him out of this town and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, if we move him over to Atlanta, he won't molest anybody there. I'm sure
There's nobody there.
No one's a criminal down there.
There's no people there.
Yeah, that's how it works, really.
There's definitely no children.
There's no Catholics, obviously. So, maybe he'll molest some Baptist children or some Pentecostal children.
Like the Lord intended.
They believe you can handle snakes. They'll believe anything. It's fine shit. So, it's crazy. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's just wandering around Atlanta trying to figure himself out. Now, he's not around his kids even more. He's never wanted to play too far from home because he never wanted to leave for college, and Milwaukee is closer to Indiana than Atlanta is probably. So, it's Chicago basically to Milwaukee's a lot shorter trip.
There might be flights.
There's flights. It's different. This is down south, and he's never lived down there. It's a totally different thing. He does get a place of his own down there where he's going to try to start over. And, of course, this guy, he does have no fucking luck, of course. He buys this house. It's all screwed up right away. So he's got a problem there.
Atlanta housing crisis.
Some sort of, I don't know what happened as it got backed up with all the, I don't know what's going on. So he's got all these problems. He has so many workers over the house. And finally, one day, his toilets are just completely screwed up and he needs help. And there's a knock at the door and it's Paul Calhoun, shit pipe enthusiast. And he says, how is it you come to arrive here, guy? What the fuck is wrong with you? You're making like $9 million fucking dollars a year. I'd be on an island. What do you care what your ex-girlfriends? Who gives a shit? Go over there. Hey, listen to me. You heard my slogan, right? Clean your shit pipes and smack your wife, right? She's not even your fucking wife. What do you care? What do you care what's going on here? She's not trying to take all of your shit. What's the difference is what I'm talking about. Anyway, your pipes, there's plastic fucking plants in there. There's awards from some Indiana basketball. I don't know what the hell's in there, but your shit pipes are clogged. The shit pipes of your life, they're just too clogged.
Yeah.
I need to snake them out. Let's just put it that way. Tell you what, you stay in Atlanta for a while. I'm sure it'll all clear up. poof, and a poof of shit and pipes. He's gone.
And smacked wives.
Yeah. And he's very confused. He's like, it's weird down south. I thought the south was weird, but I never thought this would happen. He didn't even have a southern accent, that guy. So 2002, 2003, Atlanta. This is Sharif Abdur-Rahim. Forgot all about him. Mm-hmm. He was really good, too. Corey Benjamin. It's kind of Alan Henderson. It's back with
he comes back there.
There you go. Alan Henderson comes full circle. Yeah, it's not a great squad. No. It really isn't here.
I was just going to say that. Late 90s, after
post-Dominique is a bad
post-Dominique,
time.
Stacey Augman, it's not good.
Steve Smith is the big guy on the team. Yeah, I was like, ooh, this is bad stuff here. 2002, 2003, 35-47 for Atlanta. Mm-hmm. They don't do very well here. That's shit. They don't even make the playoffs.
Smidge better than the Bucks.
Yeah, their attendance that year was 28th of 29 teams.
Oh,
so no one coming to see that mess of people that you've never heard of. Mm-hmm. So as you might imagine, he plays in 69 games, 20.8 points a game, just always consistent. 6.6 rebounds, 3 assists. Mm-hmm. He's good for 26-3 every goddamn year. Makes $9,860,000.
My God!
So
for that shit,
not too shabby.
To not do a goddamn thing competitively.
Do shit. Yeah, for the games not to matter and for no one to watch them.
Right.
And they have 80. What is it? 41 home games.
Yeah,
41 home games. 528,000 people came to 41 home. That is terrible.
That's 10,000 people.
Fucking awful.
That's awful
for the NBA.
Yeah,
you want a little more excitement, I would say, about that.
And those stadiums hold so many people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was the downswing of basketball. Yeah. From post-strike to now, it took a huge dip in once because Jordan left. Mm-hmm. So it was like double whammy with Jordan retiring and that strike just knocked off like a third to 40% of the basketball fans were gone.
And that average of 10,000 per game is not even, that's average.
So
that's when the Bulls came to town,
I was just going to say, when somebody good came to town, the Lakers come to town, somebody interesting comes to town.
You get the Clippers in town, and that shit plummets.
Yeah,
that's an ugly game.
That's, I mean, if it's Cleveland and Atlanta pre-LeBron, it's not anything that anybody wants to watch.
Positive,
not good at all. But like we said, good year for him. $9,860,000. April 2003, he's got a court date for his domestic battery here, and we'll talk about the exact charges. And he misses it. Yeah. He decides just not to show up for that.
Damn it.
So the judge decides to issue a warrant for his arrest because you have to show up for shit like that. Right. You fucking threatened to kill a woman in her own home at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
You got to answer for that now, stupid. So they set his lawyer contacts the court though, and they set the arrest warrant aside, and he's ordered to appear at all future hearings or be taken into custody here. So they also raise his bond from $5,000 to $100,000 for doing that. That it costs you an extra $95,000. Mm-hmm. Oh, and you have to surrender your passport as well.
Oh shit!
So they told him he can't have his passport either because I don't know if they thought he was going to run away. We're going to notice him going through the airport.
He's going to stick out.
Big guy, about 300. Yeah, we got him. No problem. Red cap.
Yeah.
Started wearing a red.
Jermaine, go find him.
Jermaine, bring your shovel.
Hunt him down.
Get him. So May 16, 2003 is the trial. He decides to go to trial for these charges of domestic battery and assault and unlawful possession of a firearm. Okay. So these sound like heavy charges. He could be charged or sentenced up to a year in prison out of this, and he decides to go to trial.
Really?
Doesn't take a plea.
Really?
He's going to trial.
Okay.
Goes to trial. The jury takes less than 2 hours to come back with a verdict, and he's convicted guilty of domestic battery and assault, but not guilty of unlawful possession of a firearm, because I think he never found the gun.
Got it.
So
never in possession of it.
He never had it then. He wanted to possess it.
Right.
If there was a
unlawful desire
to possess your gun that you can't find in your own closet, then he'd be guilty of sin.
Yeah.
But so the judge, this is a good one. This judge, I mean, the sentencing is weak, but the judge is good here. He says, quote, you almost need an English accent for this to really have the right amount of pissed off.
The gusto?
Yeah, the gusto, just the indignity involved. Indignant, you bastard. Says, for the life of me, I can't understand what you were thinking. It's shocking what you did. You might have had some grievances, but you had no right to take it out on the mother of your daughter. You have it all. You make more money in a year than 99% of all Americans make in a lifetime. It's sad. You're a role model, and as such, you've brought shame upon yourself and your family, and you, sir, have let your fans down. You, sir, may fuck off. That's a good one. 1 year of conditional discharge.
A year?
Nothing.
With those words in front of
He
it?
said that. I thought they were going to bang him for 20 years.
Did he sign that up for, like, the next guy? He forgot he was talking to Glenn Robinson?
To the guillotine with you. Right. Jermaine, get the shovel. Like, that's what he was getting sentenced to, but instead...
Did he forget that this wasn't the guy that murdered somebody?
Apparently not. He didn't. He really had that. I think maybe he didn't get to give that speech to somebody else. And he's had it locked and loaded.
He's like, this is so good.
I wrote it, and I'm going to say it sometime. So it's all you, Glenn.
Glenn, this one's yours.
We'll replace some words with some other words. So, Jesus Christ. So it's a year of conditional discharge, which means it will be expunged from his record if he avoids getting in trouble in the next year.
1 year.
One of those. So just don't get arrested the next year, and you get nothing rather than a year in prison.
Uh-oh.
Would you have gotten that if that was you?
Never.
I feel like you'd at least
They'd be like, go to jail for a year, and then in 20 we'll try and get rid of it.
6 months and a heavy fine.
Right.
And you'd have to, like, register as some sort of offender. Everyone thinks you take your dick out at elementary school.
I'd be Stevie in a field somewhere looking for some leader of a minority gang.
Some guy with a Les Mis shirt on staring through you. I don't know about him. So, he's also ordered to take anger management classes and serve 5 days in the Cook County Sheriff's Work Alternative Program, where he could be assigned to pick up litter. Mm-hmm. So, big fucking deal. He's broke into a woman's home, pushed his way into a woman's home and scared the life out of her at 3 a.m. and chased her around in the street and gets nothing for that.
Threatened to kill both of us.
Okay, that's fine. He has an answer for it, though.
Yeah.
He says, quote, I'm very sorry for the incident. He says, I regret any embarrassment to my family, my friends, the Bucks organization, and the Bucks fans, and anybody else that judge might have mentioned, because he had a good list.
He covered them all,
And the organization and who have supported me, I was wrong. I made a mistake, and I feel very bad about it. I will do whatever it's necessary to resolve it. These things don't excuse me from the mistakes I've made. I was wrong, but if the media gave the positive things I do 1/10 of the coverage they gave the negative things I did, I would be very happy with that. Well, whatever you're doing positive is not as interesting as busting into a woman's house at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Fascinating.
Chasing her around, beating her, pulling all the fucking petals off a plastic plant for some reason, threatening to kill everybody, and then chasing her around in the middle of the night. That's interesting. I'm sorry. Just objectively, on a Maury level, that's interesting. You know what I mean?
That one sells more tickets to shows than anything else.
Oh, huge. Big time. So July 23rd, 2003, this is about 2 months later, Atlanta says, you know what? I think we've had about enough of him here.
We're done?
They trade him. This is a 4-team trade. It is a mess.
Yeah.
Sixers, Timberwolves, Hawks, Knicks are involved in this.
Winds up in
it's
the
a mess. Yeah, this is Latrell Sprewell goes to the Wolves. The Sixers end up. The Sixers trade Keith Van Horn to the Knicks. It's a mess. Anyway, he ends up in Philly.
Did he really?
Glenn Robinson ends up in Philly.
I don't remember that.
This whole trade. He's not there very long. This is the Derek Coleman. Allen Iverson was on this team. Aaron McKee. No, not on this team. Kenny Tommy's already gone.
Oh, this is in the 2000s.
2003, 2004. Yeah, this is the post.
I think by this time there's a limo driver that's dead already.
Oh, he's been long dead. Jason Williams is still limping around on his bad leg and everything like that. This is a 33-49 Philadelphia team.
God, Jesus.
Not very good at all here. He plays in 42 games with Philly that year, 16.6 points a game, 4.5 rebounds. So he's declining a little bit. I mean, he has been distracted by being dressed down by a judge like nothing else.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were in that judge's court and you killed a guy, the amazing speech he would have.
That's my point. Like, he's so vicious.
Fuck, he would be awesome.
He's worse than a murderer in terms of being vicious.
I want to hear him sentence Stevie. You molesting, disgusting, vile bastard. You just fucking light him up like a Christmas tree.
His buddy's standing in the back drinking a Pabst going, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Just bugs, insects crawling out of his shirt.
He's standing in a courtroom and he's just got bugs coming out of his ears.
With overalls, work boots, and a white t-shirt because that's what he's wearing all these.
And he was sitting in mud, so he's standing up. There's just like a mud stripe up his back.
Covered in mud, just drinking beer. You know they weren't catching shit either.
No.
They couldn't even keep track of their frogs.
It was pathetic. He said so.
Yeah.
He pulled out a goldfish, essentially.
Like, can't catch nothing.
Pathetic. I'm embarrassed of that.
That was a day for them.
Doesn't matter.
They're just good buddies.
Yeah.
They're just good drinking pals. It's so weird. Well, Glenn has plenty of money to go out drinking after that. $10,730,000
for
that season.
Wow.
Now, 2004-2005 season here, February 24th, 2005. This year he's injured and doesn't really play much for Philly. I don't think he gets on the floor for Philly. He's traded to the Hornets for Jamal Mashburn and Rodney Rogers.
I remember this.
Blast from the past here. March 1st, this was just a salary dump, though, because this is like less than a week later, he's waived by New Orleans.
Okay.
So this was the Sixers willing to take Rodney Rogers and Jamal Mashburn's salary, and then that was way more than his, so they can cut him, and it doesn't matter. And they have freed up 2 roster spots and some cap space. That was one of those deals here. He makes that year, though, for this, and we'll talk about the end of the season, because he'll have an eventful last couple months of the year.
Yeah.
$12,071,250
to be traded to New Orleans and cut.
To not play, be traded, and be cut. Then to get picked up April 4th by the Spurs.
Right.
For just in time for the playoff run.
What?
He gets picked up just in time for the playoff run. Brent Barry and Tim Duncan and all those guys there. This is, these good Spurs teams from the mid Tony Parker. Yeah. All of those guys here. 59-23 that season. And then they go to the playoffs. They beat Denver 4-1 in the conference first round. In the semifinals, they beat the Sonics when there was still a Sonics, 4-2. Beat the Suns 4-1 in the Western Conference Finals, and then go all the way to the NBA Finals where they beat the Pistons in 7 games.
Unbelievable.
And he wins a ring.
What the fuck?
All of this shit, and he's all injured, getting passed around, and somehow ends up winning a ring out of this.
Wow.
He plays in 9 games for the Spurs that year, averages 10 points a game, and wins a fucking championship.
Unreal.
Then he says, that's enough for me. I retire.
Really?
Yep. He's got knee problems. Big guy, a 6'8" dude with a lot of weight on him.
That's not
great.
Last.
Not great on the knees. So, he makes a total in his career of $80,221,250 that we have documented. That's a shitload of money.
Unbelievable.
And averages 20.7 points and 6.1 rebounds per game.
Jesus.
20 and 6 every time. He's very, very dependable.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
right to the end.
Right to the end. Yeah. January 18th, 2007. A couple years go by. He's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Big Dog keeps to himself.
Sure. He's got 80 mil.
Big Dog likes to keep to himself. Spend his 80 million motherfucking dollars. Yeah. It's hard to piss away 80 million if you're not like, because he's not a real flashy guy.
Right.
From what I understand.
He's not Mike Tyson buying
That's what I mean.
Cell phones and shit.
He's
like
not he doesn't have a huge entourage.
Yeah.
He kind of sticks to himself. He doesn't have any tigers or anything like that in his property. So, he's one of the, he does have cars though, as we find out, because in January 18th, 2007, he's pulled over in a 2007 Bentley Continental is what he's driving. So, hey, he's got the dough. Yeah. He's a big guy. Stretch your shit out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a big guy. I need to stretch my shit out. Gotta get me a Bentley. By the way, January 18th, 2007, 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Problems.
Sure.
Every time. He's pulled over after swerving in and out of lanes, and he admits that he's had several drinks to the cop, which is, again, not smart.
I'm driving a $200,000 vehicle. I've had several drinks.
I've had several drinks.
How many fucks do you think I give about anything?
I had them in the car.
Right.
It's so nice in here, I forgot it was a car. It felt like a posh living room, so I just poured a cocktail. I don't have like a beer between my legs. Yeah.
Because I clearly don't give a fuck.
I don't care.
You think Tupac didn't give a fuck?
Yeah.
Think about me.
Don't ding my shit when you tow it. That's all I ask.
I'm driving this
drive it behind
drunk.
You. Yeah.
Tupac got in a fucking limo.
I'm drinking a mixed drink.
Yeah.
And it's not even There's not a bottle between my legs. I have a fine crystal glass with a mixed drink in here.
Pineapple and rum.
And ice and shit. That's how much I don't give a fuck.
One big ice cube.
The big
on
round
the
one.
rock.
I sip it at lights. I don't care who notices. I don't give a shit. That's how much I don't care.
This is $200,000.
I could have put it in a Pepsi bottle, but did I? No.
No.
Fuck no.
That's
put it in
not
one
class.
of those water bottles. No. I like to sip it like this.
That's giving a fuck, sir. I certainly do not.
One thing I don't give is a fuck. Now, 2010, his son, Glenn III, commits to the University of Michigan for basketball. Man. I was going to say commits suicide.
Yeah. No. I was like, oh my God, how bad is this about to get?
Oh, no. No, it's not bad. He commits to Michigan for basketball. Okay. He's a very good basketball player. Like we said, he was growing as he got older and did pretty well. He's got another son, too, named, I don't know how you pronounce this, Gelen.
Oh, is that Galen?
But it's got to be just because he's like, it's got all the letters of Glenn in it. I think that's what it is.
That might be it.
That's absolutely what it is.
But isn't that an Irish name, Galen?
I think so, but I think he thought of it as looks like Glenn.
Looks like Glenn. It's Galen.
Galen. See, that's not what you call him. Galen. See how that works? That's Glenn.
That right there's Glenn. This one.
Glenn, and I'm Glenn, and this is my dad, Glenn. Hold on, wait. Oh shit! No, he just got arrested. No, I thought he was behind me, but
that was my dad.
The cops are there. He goes, they're dragging him away now. So you can tell by the packets of cocaine and heroin that he leaves behind him in the trail, so he could find his way home.
Glenn.
Yeah, So. There's an article in March of 2013 that his son, Galen, he is 6'2", 232 pounds, and he's ranked the number 23 strong side defensive end in the country.
All right.
And the number 6 football recruit from the state of Indiana, here. They said that he was visiting colleges, and he was going to visit at Purdue, and he was going to Michigan to watch one of his brother's games and to check out the campus. He's also looking at Illinois and Minnesota. And he's got a lot of options. And he said, quote, "It was great being up to a school. It was great being up to a school I know I could play at. They showed me around. They treated me very well. It was a great experience, and they gave me a better look at what they're really all about. Overall, it was just a great day."
Yeah.
He is 2013 and 2014 Indiana High School Athletic Association 220-pound wrestling champion as well. So he's an athlete. Yeah. He's a discus 2014 Indiana High School, whatever the hell, Athletic Association discus champion. He's the shot put runner-up, the 2013 discus runner-up, 2013. He's basically just everything he touches, he's really, really good at. He's the newspaper's football defensive player of the year there. So he's very good. Yeah. They say the only thing he's not good at is basketball.
Oh, no.
He sucks at basketball. Yeah. Like, he's good at everything else. His brother Glenn is 6'6" at this point, and averaging 11 points a game for Michigan. And Galen is mulling over offers from Illinois, Minnesota, and Purdue, and also Arizona and Notre Dame have talked to him as well.
I've mulled over 0 offers from any of them.
Never. No one has ever offered me a goddamn thing.
No.
You know what? If you want to give us like an honorary degree, we'll take it.
Yeah.
We have nothing.
Hey guys, we would really like you to. Several of you give us honorary degrees.
You know how many Bill Cosby has, and he's fucking raped everybody. We've never raped any. We're never going to bring a bad name to your school.
And I didn't want an honorary doctorate. Give me an honorary associate. I'm good with that.
Honorary bachelor's degree. Thank you. In like something terrible too that I don't know anything about.
Something that's useless.
Yeah, something that
honorary associates of the fucking fine arts.
French poetry. 17th century French poetry. Give us that.
I'll take it.
We'll take it. We'll at least be interested.
Several of you give those, though, so that we can mull it over.
Yeah. No shit. Jesus. So his mother, the woman who was, had her plant picked apart by Glenn, says about her son, Galen, quote, "For one thing, he can't play basketball. It's probably the only sport he can't play." And his sister is also a big track star and talking about going to college. She set records in the state for triple jump and shit like that.
Is Galen the 3-year-old that he was going to fucking...
No, that's the daughter.
Oh, okay.
That's the daughter who's a good high school athlete.
Got it.
Galen is with the other woman.
Understood.
Yeah. So, I mean, Jesus Christ. She said, quote, about her dad, does her dad like that she's into track? She said, he's pretty supportive of what I do, even though he's like, you should try basketball, but he knows I'm into track.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. She's also like, so he almost killed us all when I was 3, and so, that goes. So I might listen to him. Right. Otherwise, he might come in the house and act crazy and start beating me about the hip and leg.
But let's be honest, who really gives a shit what he wants of me?
That's the other thing.
He wanted to kill me at one point.
He wanted to kill me at one point. I mean, you should at this point just pity me as well as pity the Bucks and everybody else who's paid him a lot. I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. Yeah. I really do, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Glenn Robinson, systems architect for IBM Systems and Storage at RSI Consulting Limited in the greater Northampton area in the UK. Glenn Robinson, president at Baylor Scott and White Medical Center at Trinity. He went to Trinity University here. Glenn Robinson, director of finance at, holy shit, this is hilarious. Director of finance at Habitat for Humanity, which is...
What?
I swear to God.
Unbelievable.
I completely
There is a Glenn Robinson
that's
doing that.
I forgot all about that. He went to Princeton, this Glenn Robinson. He's a different kind of cat. Glenn Robinson, newly retired command sergeant major looking for future employment in the San Antonio, Texas area. Hire this fucking guy.
Yeah.
He's a soldier. He came home. He's looking for work. He's got a very nice tie on in his picture. Look at this guy. Doesn't he look like a solid guy you'd want to hire? Yeah. Hire the fuck out of that guy. Hire Glenn Robinson from San Antonio, Texas. He's on LinkedIn. If you're looking for somebody, I don't know what he does, but he was a U.S. Command Sergeant Major in the Army. Seems like a good dude.
How many other Tito Jacksons are there?
A lot. A lot, I'm sure. And finally, Glenn Robinson, the men's basketball coach.
What?
Of the Diplomats. That's the Franklin and Marshall Diplomats College. Franklin and Marshall College in Lancaster, Pennsylvania for the last 50 years.
Unreal.
A pillar of the community who's helped all these kids, and everybody loves article after article about what a wonderful man he is. Poor and if you look up Glenn Robinson basketball, he's on page 5 of this. You're getting other Glenn Robinson. So 2014, Glenn Robinson, Glenn, is at college at Purdue. He decides to go to Purdue. He is put in the diversion agreement program in August after being cited for alcohol consumption by Purdue University police. So he was drinking in college when he was 19. That's what that means. Who cares? June of 2014, Glenn the Third, old Trey, as his grandma calls him, is drafted by the Minnesota Timberwolves, number 40 overall.
Really?
That's right. Old Trey's still in the league, babe.
No kidding.
He has rings. He was on the Warriors the last couple of years.
Oh, shit.
He's won rings, man.
Trey Robinson?
He's got rings on his fingers, man. That's
Glenn Robinson's
Glenn the Third, Chief, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been in the league for years. He's bounced around a few teams, but...
How come I didn't put that together?
I don't know. Maybe because he's not a fat fuck.
Yeah, that's probably it.
If he had a big gut and a jersey that was too baggy, you'd go, is that Glenn Robinson's kid? He looks like him.
He is ugly as fuck, though.
Well, I mean, it happens.
Wow.
I don't know.
I had no idea that was his kid.
That's his kid, man. So, weird, right?
Yeah.
June of 2015, he's now a sophomore, Glenn, at Purdue. He's arrested for operating a motor vehicle with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. It's like an extreme DUI.
Huge.
That's a double the legal limit DUI. And illegal possession of an alcoholic beverage. He's not even 21 yet.
No kidding.
He is 20. This is his second alcohol infraction, and that's a good DUI.
That's healthy.
That's a healthy one. Yeah, you got a good healthy buzz going at that point.
That's an I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
DUI.
That's when like you and your friends start punching each other and it seems fun.
Right.
Hey, hit me. That's hilarious. Pow.
In front of a cop.
That's that level of drunk that you're at there. So he's booked in the Tippecanoe jail and later released. And his coach is talking about he was already in trouble at school for the first one. And so his coach said, we'll let him know shortly, and the rest of the team know exactly what we'll do with him. Yeah. There's a penalty to be paid. He's owned up to his mistakes, and now he has to do some things to put him back in the graces of the program. That's where we are right now. Without giving out what may or may not be, he knows he has some things to do, and there will be there will still be a penalty to come down. So we never find out what that penalty is. But in March of 2016, this is awesome. He's in a feud with Stephen A. Smith, Glenn Robinson, which is great. I would love Glenn Robinson to powerbomb Stephen A. Smith because I fucking cannot stand Stephen A. Smith or Skip Bayless. The two of them together. I would like to see them together somewhere and have somebody just fucking powerbomb the both of them. And I'd like it to be Glenn Robinson because he owes him. Glenn says he's pissed off at him and he wants to beat up Stephen A. Smith.
Really?
Yeah, he says, quote, he said some things about me in one of his articles, and then I saw him in Denver, and the guy speaks to me. A few words were exchanged, and I ended up in his face. It almost got physical, and we all know what the outcome would have been if it got physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gigantic.
And he's not.
He is not, but he's got a loud fucking mouth on him.
He does. His mouth is as big as Glenn Robinson.
His mouth is as big as his stomach.
Right.
Yeah, if only, they put those two things together. Glenn Robinson also says, quote, we can take it to the cage. Let's get it off your chest, my brother.
Oh, boy.
So he wants to fucking set up a fight with Stephen A. Smith. A cage match, which I would love to watch Glenn Robinson pummel Stephen A. Smith.
I'd enjoy it.
I don't care if he went to his fiance's house 10 times and did what he did. I would still go, you're still better than Stephen A. Smith because at least you're not every day on TV spewing your horse shit.
Right.
So, Smith says that this started after Smith accused Robinson of favoring white coaches over black coaches. Stephen A. Smith called him an Uncle Tom, and he said, I'll fuck you up, mother.
Yeah.
How dare you say shit about me. He says, quote, this is Stephen A. Smith, I despise him and he despises me. He says that my issue with Glenn Big Dog Robinson was that, he didn't play well and he got 60 million. It was not that, he didn't play well and he got 69 million or anything like that. It was that I saw this man march lockstep with former Bucks coach George Karl with what he wanted to do because George Karl's getting paid $7 million a year. He said, but Randy Ayers comes in as the head coach of the Sixers. You treated this man like trash, but you'll come and talk to reporters about how brothers need to facilitate brothers being hired, but you had one, and how did you treat him? So that's what he said. He basically said, you took the side of a white coach and you had a black coach, then you treated him like shit. Right. Maybe he didn't like the way he coached.
All with one breath.
With one breath.
That man can somehow get every word out that he's ever thought in one breath.
He's never breathed. He's had breathe one gust of air.
Yeah.
In about 2032, he's going to go. That's good. That's good right there.
He's like,
let me tell you something. Right. The big dog, Glenn Robinson.
That's what I heard when you started it. I was like, God, I hate him already.
You can't
Glenn Big Dog Robinson.
This is why I don't like the big dog.
Jesus.
And that's a New York accent that even makes me annoyed.
I know.
I hate that accent. But I hate the New York accent anyway because you hate everything about yourself.
He's also a bitch doing it.
He's also a douche. That's the thing. So he's talking about that. Meanwhile, he's not behind the scenes.
No.
He doesn't know. Maybe Glenn, I think it's okay. So what if Glenn Robinson thought Randy Ayers was a shit coach?
Yeah.
He's supposed to just be like, we got to keep him in power and as our coach, and we'll all suck because he's black. Like he's not. He wants to fucking win.
Right.
I think that's what they're talking about. Glenn Robinson's like, probably I would love to have a black coach, but they need to be as good of a coach as George Karl, because I want to fucking win. Yeah. That's the point. I think anyway. That's where George. That's his point of view.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to.
I don't care what color or sex they are, as long as they're good at what we're doing.
But then again, on the same point, I don't know how to get between two black guys having a black guy problem beef. Like those are black guy issues.
Right.
They are. Like
that's like women beefing with women over not supporting women.
I can't. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how
Stephen A. Smith might be right. I don't fucking know. I don't know who's right because it's honestly none of our business. It couldn't be any less of our business. So it's one of those things. That's like, I don't know. If you want to get it sucked out, get it sucked out. It's your body. You know what I'm saying?
I don't care.
I'm here.
Y'all fight it out.
Yeah.
Whoever wins, we'll all support.
Tell me how much I gotta give. So, December.
Tell me how much 50% of that is.
Remember that joke I had? That was so awful. That was a great joke, but it was a bad one. So December 2016, Glenn Robinson and Alan Henderson, once again together, will be both inducted into the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame.
Really?
The state's 2017 class. Alan Henderson, they'll be the 10th and 11th players inducted in their first year of eligibility, along with Steve Alford, Damon Bailey, Kent Benson, Larry Bird, Kyle Macy, George McGinnis, Rick Mount, Oscar Robinson. So there's some Hall of Famers in there.
Oscar Robinson and Larry Bird. That's
Oscar Robertson, Larry Bird.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, George McGinnis was around for a while too.
I think
he wasn't a great player. Okay. I think he played for a while anyway. But yeah, I mean, Bird and Robertson are two of the top 50 all-time players. Yeah, they're great. So anyway, Glenn Robinson, he's out there. Yeah. He's wandering around. His kid's playing in the NBA. He seems to be fine. Keep an eye on his other one. Can't get enough of Glenn Robinson?
Yeah.
Well, go on eBay. There's plenty of Glenn Robinson cards.
It's all there.
There was 10 million brands of cards in the mid-90s, so he's on all of them. They're like $1 or $2.
Yeah.
Or a Sixer or a Hawk. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Well done.
Back at you. That's for the reach for earlier. That's for the share joke.
She did?
Yeah. Ooh. And also, you can get a Purdue jersey that he never made a penny off of. You can buy it again so he doesn't make a dime off it again if you want. Get that one. Or get a Bucks jersey, number 13. Get it authentic. Get it like a size 64 triple wide if you're going to get it. Do it authentic style.
Get a car cover.
Yeah, I get it. Just put it over your car if you're not using it, and then you can put it on and shoot some hoops on it.
Cover your pool in the winter with it. Winterize it.
Winterize your Olympic pool in the winter, and you'll be good.
With the word Robinson from side to side.
Yeah, number 13. Huge letters. I found one for $29.99 with free shipping on eBay.
For a triple X.
That's a good deal. Yeah. Grab that shit. And that, my friends, is Glenn Robinson, the big dog. Yeah. Indeed. Holy shit, what a mess.
Tito, get your shovel.
Jermaine! Get the shovel. So that is that. Next week, by the way, we will do some sort of violence. There'll be a violent story.
Great.
It'll be a murder, rape, robbery, something. Not great, but it'll be something violent because we've just kind of keep it light with the fun stuff lately and have a bunch of coke and crack. And
this was fun.
This was a fun one. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. And by the way, we have to tell you guys, the Crime and Sports Live, thank you guys for coming up. We didn't have a lot of time in the top of the show to talk about it, but god damn it, you guys were an amazing crowd.
Honestly, it was one of the most fun things I've ever experienced. It was so fun. That in the town that we live in.
It was great.
Managing that club.
He's Casey Courier runs the greatest CB Live.
He's so good at this.
Yeah, any comedians, if you're out there and you come to Phoenix and you come to the club and the manager is a redheaded guy with a Boston accent named Casey, you'll by the end of the night go, this place runs amazingly smooth because that's how that dude gets down.
Because he's there.
Take lessons, rest of the country, of how the fuck to run shit correctly.
Call Casey Courier and he'll tell you how it's done.
Yes,
exactly. Or he won't because he wants to keep
he'll be like,
club
I don't know, pal. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you, kid.
I don't know. Your shit pipe's a clog, pal. I don't know.
Fire people. When they're on the phone, fire them.
I say you fire. They're using your phone. You go, you're fired. Fired, little guy. So, thank you.
Away, don't come back.
Don't come back. So, thank you guys, honestly, for coming out to that live show because that was, it was an amazing time. We loved every second of it. We did like 2 hours and 10 minutes. Yeah. And for a live comedy show, that is a long live comedy show. And you guys you guys were great from start to finish.
You were riveted through the whole thing.
Well, people flew from like Indianapolis. So we're like, we have to give them a full show. We can't give them like some tiny sliver of a show for all that flying. So thank you guys.
Indianapolis, San Francisco,
Spokane,
Denver, Spokane, fucking Washington.
Thank you so much, though, everybody that did that. Everybody else out there who didn't come, no credit to you. No, I'm just kidding. It's sold out. Maybe you wanted to come. But, what you can do, though, to make it up is you can get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars.
Sure.
Doesn't matter what you say. Just say you're following instructions. You're following directions. These guys made me do it. They have me locked in the closet and they're huge jerks. It doesn't matter what you say. It's not for our ego. It's really just for business purposes to help drive us up the charts. So, definitely please do that. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your merchandise needs. We have a bunch of really cool new stuff up there.
We do. We got those teenage Filipino sex things.
Oh, those are good. We have a whole slew of them. And if you lose it, the police will bring it back to you, but only if you're in the city of Milwaukee. So that guarantee void outside of the greater Milwaukee area. We're very sorry about that. Even in Madison, we can't cover you. We just can't. We can't. We can't guarantee it. I'm sorry. It's the first time you actually fell off a chair while we were recording earlier.
Fucking incredible.
That was great. So do that shit. What was I doing? Website. Yeah. Check out the tickets. No more for Small Town Murder for the rest of 2019. Whole slew of 2020 shows coming up. And we're going to mix in some crime and sports live.
Yes.
Right now, there's one on the books, and that is April 8th in Nashville, Tennessee at Zany's. Right. And there are
very few left.
Very few tickets left. Done. It's almost gone. So please get those now. There won't be any more. We're not.
We almost have every show that's on the book sold out, and that's because of you guys. You guys,
thank you guys.
You're animals, and we can't thank you enough.
It is wild. Thank you so much. Follow us on social media. We are at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, and follow there, and you can find out when we have new tour dates. We will put them up. Some of these cities will sell out really fast.
They will.
Like Phoenix sold out really fast. If we put up let's say we do a Crime and Sports in
Minnesota,
Boston, or Minneapolis, it's going to sell out fucking immediately.
Right,
so you're going to want to follow us on social media so you can get that right up to date with all that stuff. We don't bombard you with a ton of shit either. No. It's nothing crazy. We don't constantly, put up stuff. So follow us on all that. Do all of that. And if you want to be a hero of ours, we're going to talk about these people in just a second here. Our producers, the people that really honestly keep the show going, and the people that we feel, even if we're sick and everything else, we have to get the show done for, even if we're driving to town and country. It doesn't matter.
Even if your car's broken, they give you a shit rental.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Those people are producers. You can be one of them so easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports or head over to PayPal. Use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com, and you can get both of those places very easily right from shutupandgivememurder.com.
That's right.
Take you everywhere you need to know. And I right now I need to hear it. Jimmy, get the shovel and dig me up some names right now.
This week's executive producers are Chrissy Ann Castaldi back again. Thank you, Chrissy Ann. You're so fantastic.
Thank you.
Christine Conklin, Kristen Wright,
anybody
Christopher
with a KR in the beginning, KRI or CRI and HRI in the beginning of their name is giving us money.
Terrific.
Thank you.
And then Christopher Dobronsky, too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I heard the beginning of that one. I'm like, it's all...
Hilda Straley, and then Jordan Bennett and Simon are celebrating their 15-year anniversary, so good for you, too. And she's celebrating by coming to our fucking show.
Can't wait.
She's dragging his ass from Canada to come see a live show for their anniversary.
Amazing. Thank you. See you then.
And Simon's such a sweet dude. He's going to compromise his own sanity for something that his wife fucking loves.
That's amazing. Thank you. He does it repeatedly.
He does.
Appreciate it, guys.
Other producers this week are Thomas Smith, Jeremy Phillips, Brian Price, Nicole Turner, who I once fucked her last name up terribly. Turner. I ruined that to like Tacker or some shit.
How you do that?
Amanda Stanford, Aaron Dalton, Talisha Welker, Andrea Webster, Amanda Morrison, Ryan Benner, Jennifer Balla, Nolan Regenweather, Ashley Vio. She sent us a video of her kid spelling.
That's the best. That's a great video.
We're gonna try and use that somewhere.
FUCKOFF. That's the funniest fucking thing in the world.
He's so spelling the pillow. It's so
happily.
Great. Yeah, Carol Braun, who she's been around since like near day one. She's coming to KC. Can't wait to see you, Carol. Daniel Feliciano, fucking Italian, nailed it. Jesse Hartman, Jessica Nottingham, Brittany Herzog, John Austin, Abdul John, Jake McClendon, Kim Radisky, she donated a couple of times. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
David Wiley, Laura Peck, Scott McDonald, Michelle Miller, who drove from Flagstaff to see the show.
Oh yeah, thanks.
She's terrific.
That was cool. Thanks nice to see you.
And happy birthday.
Good to meet you.
Kiana Urata, Gary Howard, David Monteith, Michelle Kieran, Peyton Meadows, Kennedy Drigger, Deanna Jones, Amy Coleman, Justin Reeder, Dylan Sullivan, Reagan Shalkley, Reagan, thank you very much again. And then Bear Bus Rescue Transport. I'm not sure what that is. If it's not rescuing bears either because it's BARE.
Yeah, okay.
Linda Boardman, Wendy McGath. She donated both ways. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy. Michelle Wallace, Barbara Lamika. Lamka. I don't know what I did. Kyrie Campbell, Shane with no last name, Lauren Demarath, Chloe Carlson, Chelsea Schoaf, and Jordan Schoaf, Dylan Stumpf, Amanda Allen, Brittany Boltman, Ronnie Kumar, Justin Redding, Jennifer Lanciani. God damn it. That's that Italian shit I can't get. Kara Barcroft, Kimberly White, Susan Palmer, Krista Walker, Kim Shang, Sean Turner, Kayleen Kirsch, Dita Vasquez, Hyena Bryant. God damn it. Jacqueline Donaldson, Vroom Vroom, Asia with no last name, Justin Miller, Justin Finley, Josette with an S, no last name, Sonny Johansson, Andrea Johnson, George Alston, Anthony Canella, Blair Durham, Isabella Sorensen, Bonnie Klein, EBJ, Callie Catt, Robin Anderson, Lauren Higby, Camille Mendez, Homestretch, kind of. Danielle Denning, Angela Jones, Kelly O'Connell. God damn it, Kelly O'Connell.
The Irish names are tough too, huh?
They're brutal. John Cena's brother Patrick. Dana Connaughton. Nope. Mikey Giovanni, Emily Lancaster, Mark Piotrowski. Yep. Ryan Harold, Erica DeBoat, Caitlin Bissell. Fuck. William with no last name. Anastasia. What?
Yeah, it's not Anastasia.
Sleep.
Bergmeyer. Alyssa Nurnberger. Laura Pearl. Lisa Silvignali. Sydney Beadle, Melissa Spears, Casey Locke, Zachary Dixon. Laura Sorwick. Sonic. What is that?
I don't know. You wrote it.
Ryan with no last name. Kendra Granis. Rihanna Boatwright. Ballard Bow. Zoe. Jacqueline D. No last name, just D. Julia McCormick. Ruth Wheeler. Amanda Maldonado. That's one. It could be either way. Yeah. I don't know what that is. Melanie Cottingham. Alex Strong. Reagan Derm to play. No.
This is a mess.
Katarina Cagle. Oh, Jesus. That's a brutal last name. Amanda, that's
yeah.
Katarina, pussy push-ups.
Yeah. Pussy flex.
Amanda Phillips, Andrew Bionin, Carol Hayden, Jesse Dugan, Warren Back, Candace Harris, Corey Patterson, Sasha with no last name, Robert with no last name, Nick Todd, Chris Dew, Ashley Brittain, or Britton, it's probably Brittain, Linda Fitch, Julie Brennaugh, Michelle Rogers, Stephen Bailey, Brittany Schwind, Laura Otto, Alyssa Mulligan, Spencer Gaynor, Becca and Bobby, Dakota Hawk, HOCQ. Nope, I'm not trying that. I think it's Hawk, right? Hawk. Yeah, Amber Corder, Emily Thompson, Katie Carroll, Samuel Hernandez, and Sala Jaden, and all of our Patreon supporters, of course. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for all that you do. Honestly, for the show, for being a producer, for everything. We can't thank you enough. Yeah. You mean the world to us, and we're going to keep trying to do as good a shows as we can for you and keep pumping these bad boys out. And we want to keep them fun and keep them wild and keep more live shows coming. And so thanks for making that possible. Jimmy, what if they wanted to find you and break into your house and pull all the petals off of your plastic flowers? How could they find you?
You can find me at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And it's really just it really changes my day to hear from you guys and have you involved in this. So thanks for being a part of it. Where can they find you?
Now you can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or you can just copy and paste my name from the show description into whatever and find me that way, because it'll be a shitload easier than trying to spell Petrogallo. With that said, guys, I think it's time to go. I need to go gargle something from my throat. It's not good.
I need rest.
We need rest, and we have to record Small Town Murder tomorrow and then go to Missouri. Yes. So it's going to be a crazy week. You guys got all the energy out of us now. That's good.
Show me.
Dead the rest of the week. Yeah, show me, motherfuckers.
You better fucking show me, because goddammit, we're flying forever.
There. With that said, everybody, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.